Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Am
hear
I
you.
audible? Okay. Shall we start?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to EHEF Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. My name is Harris, and I will be the moderator for this webinar. This webinar is going to be presented by Mrs. Attila and Mrs. Hannah from Red Bull University. Please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we will have a question and answer session. If you have any questions about the presentations or anything related to the country's higher education, you can submit your questions in YouTube's comment section anytime throughout the presentations. And now, without any further ado, please welcome the representative from Red Bull University.
Thank you. I will start sharing my screen. I hope it all works. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to this presentation. My name is Hannah Sabo, and I work for Radboud University as an international marketing and recruitment officer. And we have Attila here as well. Can you introduce yourself briefly?
Hi everyone. Sorry. Hi everyone. My name is Attila from Grow Out Indonesia. Yeah, I will introduce myself later, maybe after you have done with your slides, Hannah.
Yeah. All right. So let's dive in. Welcome to Radboud University. Our university is located in the Netherlands. You probably have heard about this country already. But the Netherlands, of course, is in Europe, in the western part of Europe, bordering Germany and Belgium. So it is really central. And our university is in the city of Nijmegen. As you can see on this slide in this little map, Nijmegen is a city kind of in the eastern central part of the Netherlands, very, very close to the German border. Why should you consider the Netherlands as your study destination? Well, the Netherlands has excellent education and research. We are really among the top universities in the world. And we have great entrepreneurial pioneers. You may have heard of companies such as Philips or Heineken. These are Dutch companies that went global. But also, the Netherlands is a really multicultural and open society with a lot of different nationalities and a lot of different kinds of people living all together. Myself, I'm also not Dutch. I'm from Hungary, and I've been living in the Netherlands for a number of years. And also, for your education, it has a great value for your money, especially compared to programs in the US or in the UK. Dutch higher education is much more affordable. And there's even more. You may know this already, but there are a lot of bikes in the Netherlands. There are more bikes actually than people. And since it's a really flat country, we go everywhere on our bikes. It is a really happy and healthy society in all kinds of rankings. Dutch, the Dutch society ranks as very high in, when it comes to happiness and health. And generally speaking, it's a great English proficiency, not only in the universities, but everywhere you go. Recently, there was a research, and the Dutch speak the best English as a second language in the world. So it is not necessary to learn Dutch to get by here. And then let's dive in more to the city of Nijmegen. You can see already on this picture that it's a beautiful city along the water. And why should you consider coming here? Where it is one of those really typical lively student towns, when really there are more than 20,000 students in this city. And it has a lot of green spaces. So it is really a beautiful environment. It has also a very rich cultural life. As you can imagine, with all these students living here, there's really a lot to do in the city. Good cafes to go for a drink and places to go eat out. And because of its location, it's also an excellent hub for exploring both the Netherlands. It's 1.5 hours away, the train from Amsterdam, but also the rest of Europe, because Germany is really around the corner and it's very close to different airports as well. Um, and of course, it is super easy to get around by bicycle. So, for example, from the middle of town to the campus of Radboud University is a 15-minute bike ride. So more about our university. Radboud University has modern facilities, as you can also see in this picture. It's modern buildings with different multimedia centers, very great IT facilities, and high-tech laboratories. We also have an amazing sports center, for example. But it is also a really green campus, not only in its way that the landscape with grass and paths and trees everywhere, so you can study outside in nature. It is also really big, and we are also very green because of our ambition to become a 100% sustainable campus. So we also put a lot of emphasis on having a sustainable um, environment at our university. Of course, Radboud University is a really international community. There are different international student organizations on our campus and also 100 different nationalities. I think around 11% of our student body is international and 25% of the teaching and staff is international. When it comes to our teaching, we really value personal approach. So we really want you to have a good quality teaching by having a connection and personal contact during your classes. So your teachers will know you by name and they are really easy to approach if you have any questions to them about study materials or internship possibilities or research possibilities, for example. We are also a research university in the Netherlands. All of our teachers are researchers and we do a lot of interdisciplinary research. In different fields and how these fields are connected. And the research is also integrated with the teaching that we offer. So your study program will also have a lot of focus on methods and statistics and research opportunities. We have some really famous research centers, such as the Donders Institution, which is for cognitive and behavioral research. So let's look at the different programs that we offer. We offer 14 different fully English taught bachelor's programs at Radboud University. You can see on this slide the different areas that we have. These are all 3-year-long, fully English taught full-time programs starting in September. And as you can see, we really offer it in a variety of fields. So from humanities like comparative European history or English language and culture or American studies to also science subjects such as biology, chemistry, or molecular life sciences. And also in the field of behavioral sciences such as artificial intelligence or psychology. And also in business and economics, for example. So there's really a lot of variety from you to choose from. You can look at our websites, ru.nl/bachelors to find out more information about these programs. For our admissions for bachelor's programs, you can see only on this slide what we are looking for. And if you're not from an SMA school or not a top school, then you also need 1 year of university in a relevant field to be admissible for our bachelor's programs. But generally speaking, all diplomas to all programs are assessed individually. So if you would ask now, oh, can I get into biology? I cannot tell you that because we are looking at your grades and your motivation to really see if you would be a good fit for a program. We also need a proof of language proficiency, as all of our programs are fully English taught. We accept IELTS, TOEFL, and Cambridge certificates. And specific courses in your secondary school education may be required depending on the program. So for example, for science, we usually require math and science subjects, so biology, physics, chemistry. But for economics or business administration, you would have to have mathematics. Let's look at the master's programs. On master's level, we offer 35 different master's programs fully English taught. These are 1 year or 2 year programs, and they can start in September or February. And all these different programs also have a number of specializations. So for example, if you would study political science, there are 5 different specializations you can choose from. So actually, it's even more programs than you can see on the slide. And we offer programs in all kinds of different fields, including computer science, medical sciences, or law, for example. You can check out our website, ru.nl/masters, for more information about the different master's programs that we offer. For admission for master's programs, very generally speaking, you need a bachelor's diploma. And you have to meet the English language requirements, but there are always program-specific requirements. So again, your diploma and your educational background is assessed on an individual basis. And then based on the courses that you have followed during your bachelor's program, we will look at your admissibility to the programs. In case you already have a bachelor's diploma and you want to study with us, but you're not directly admissible to our master's program, so for example, you missed some credits in methods and statistics, we offer pre-master's programs. These pre-master's programs prepare you for the master's. These are individually designed. So we look at what kind of courses you still need to be able to follow the master's program, and then you follow those courses. They take a year, but you might not study full time. You still need a diploma in a relevant field, but it's more about focusing on certain aspects of the study program where you need a bit more knowledge to enroll into the master's programs. You can check out the website again for more information on the masters, on the pre-masters, excuse me, ru.nl/pre-masters. So for the application procedure, in the Netherlands, we have 2 parts to an application. The first part is a centralized part. This is what you see on the slide, StudyLink, www.studylink.nl. This is where you register first and you start your application. And then when you start your application, you will get login details to another platform called Osiris. And Osiris, you actually upload your documents to the university. So we can look at your profile and let you know the next steps regarding your application. Our deadlines. We have certain bachelor's programs that are selective. These are artificial intelligence, psychology, and biology. So for these programs, the deadlines are the 15th of January. Selective programs mean that you will have to take some sort of a test to be eligible to enroll in these programs. If you would like to apply for a scholarship, then the deadline is the 1st of March. And if you do not want to apply for a scholarship, for non-EU students, the deadline is the 1st of April. Let's talk about finances a bit. The tuition fees for bachelor students, for non-EU students, it varies between 11,500 euros and 40,500 euros. And for the science and medical sciences, it is 14,500 euros for non-EU students. You can go to our website to check out the exact tuition fees for the different programs that we offer. For the masters, again, for non-EU students, it is between 16,000 and 16,500 euros for a master's program. And check our website for the exact price for the exact program of your interest. When we look at more like living costs, housing would be around 4,800 euros a year. Housing in the city of Nijmegen is around 380, 500 euros a month. So it really depends on what kind of housing you find. Groceries are around maybe 180 to 100 euros a month. So 1,000 euros a year, and your books and other study materials would be 500 euros. And we recommend you having accounting for another 4,000 euros for other expenses, such as your personal hobbies or phone bills or whatnot. We offer a number of scholarships, specifically for master students. Unfortunately, for bachelor's students, we do not have scholarships. But for masters, there are really a number of different scholarships you can apply for. Some programs have specific scholarship funds for their programs, and there is also the Holland Scholarship, the Orange Tulip Scholarship, where you could apply to all of the programs. And there is also a Dutch national study grant and loan system. So you can take out, for example, tuition fee loan if you also work in the Netherlands. Please be mindful that if you would like to apply for a scholarship, you would have to apply to the university by the 1st of March. So what about student life? Of course, a big part of being in a university is not only about studying, but also about meeting new people. So at our university, we really want to help you with different support services during your study. But already before you arrive, we have a buddy system, so you can be matched with a current student and get to know the university and have a friend already before arriving. We also help you with visa and housing. And while you're here, we have different student advisors, mentors, and tutors to help you with your studies. We have trainings and different events for you to join. We have, of course, a graduation ceremony, and we also support you after you have graduated. So we keep in touch with our alumni, and we also have career services for you. So we help you apply for jobs, internships, but also just take a new picture for your LinkedIn profile, for example. We also support non-EU students with an orientation year visa. This is a 1-year visa that you can have to stay in the Netherlands after you graduated to look for a job. I mentioned before that we have a sports center, and it is a really special place because it has been voted the #1 university sports center in the world once. It is on our campus, and it offers 80 different sports, from group lessons to just the gym, from beach volleyball to hockey. And it is only around 100 euros a year for a membership for our students. We also have a lot of social activities during your studies, including guest lectures, cultural events, peer-to-peer programs. Like I said, we have a buddy program. We have meet and eat events at the student church. We also have parties and excursions for you to explore the Netherlands and Europe. And we also have an international office, really helping the international students finding their way in the Netherlands, and the International Student Network, also in Nijmegen, to connect with other international students living in the city. So to wrap up my part of the presentation about Radboud University, here are the 10 reasons why you should consider coming to Radboud University. First of all, we are the top 1% worldwide in worldwide rankings. All Dutch universities offer great education, and we are part of the top 200 worldwide. Radboud University has been voted the best traditional university in the Netherlands 8 times between 2012 and 2020. Best traditional university means that we offer courses in the classical academic fields, humanities, social sciences, and sciences. Which means that we offer you a wide range of study options to study in English, both on the bachelor's and on the master's level. You come out with a worldwide recognized diploma from our university. And during your classes, you will really experience a personal approach to teaching with interactive classrooms and a lot of help from your peers and teachers. We have excellent services to help you find your way around university life in the Netherlands and facilities to do this. We really want you to build a valuable network during your studies, both with your peers or with companies, with your teachers, so you can really launch a career after your graduation with good career prospects. And all of this is happening in a really green campus in the heart of the city of Nijmegen. And as a last little fact, of course, we have the #1 university sports center in the world. So if you like working out, or if you always wanted to start a sport, we definitely have a place for you. And now in this last slide, you can see our contact details. You can visit our website, send us an email with any questions, and check out our social media channels. And now I will give the floor to Attila to talk a bit about GROW, and then we have some time to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you, Hannah, for the time. And hi, everyone. Now I will introduce about GROW Indonesia, and my name is Attila from GROW Office. I will give the information maybe in bahasa. So, GROW Office adalah kantor perwakilan untuk beberapa universitas Belanda, dan salah satunya adalah Radboud University. Kantor kami berdiri dari tahun 2008. Jadi sudah memiliki lebih dari 12 tahun experience, dan kantor kami terdaftar di Nuvikneso Indonesia atau di bawah kedutaan Belanda di bagian pendidikan, yaitu Nuvikneso. Kalian bisa cek langsung ke Nuvikneso Indonesia dan akan menemukan untuk bagian representatif untuk Radboud University adalah GROW Indonesia. Dan kantor kami ini didirikan oleh Ibu Ponti Caroline sebagai direkturnya. Oke. Lalu untuk apa fungsi dari GROW Indonesia sendiri di Indonesia adalah kami membantu sebagai pusat informasi apabila kalian ingin menemukan atau mendaftar ke Radboud University. Kami juga membantu untuk follow up ke universitas, membantu cek dokumen kalian, lalu sampai dengan proses keberangkatan kalian ke Radboud University. Jadi kalian bisa kontak ke kami. Saya akan berikan juga kontak kantor GROW Indonesia di slide selanjutnya. Oke, please next. Ya, thank you. Oke, ini adalah gambaran dari kegiatan dari pihak Radboud University di Indonesia. Ini adalah kegiatan saat European Higher Education di tahun-tahun sebelumnya, saat masih belum ada pandemi ini dan kita bisa langsung tatap muka. Para perwakilan dari Radboud University datang ke Indonesia dan kami di sini mengassist mereka untuk membantu dalam di booth-nya maupun kita pameran keliling-keliling kota, memberikan informasi kepada teman-teman di seluruh Indonesia seperti itu. Oke, next please, Hannah. Ya, ini adalah contoh student Indonesia yang ada di Nijmegen. Kalian bisa lihat banyak sekali beberapa contoh yang memang teman-teman Indonesia di sana ada yang ambil master, ada yang ambil bachelor. Kalau kita lihat di bagian atas kiri itu gambaran dari ini adalah mahasiswa-mahasiswa master yang ada di Radboud University dan mereka juga sudah lulus. Lalu di bagian bawah itu, sebelah kiri bawah yang pakai batik adalah Ikra Wiratama, merupakan ketua PPI dari Radboud tahun ini. Dia merupakan student bachelor untuk di program biologi, seperti itu. gambaran kegiatan student Indonesia selama ada di Radboud University. Oke, next, please. Ya, selanjutnya di slide terakhir ini adalah kontak dari kantor kami, Grow Representative Office. Jadi jangan khawatir kalau kalian masih bingung atau ada pertanyaan, silakan dapat menghubungi kami di alamatnya adalah Senayan Trade Center, lantai 1, nomor 115, atau kalian bisa hubungi ke email atau ke nomor telepon, bisa langsung hubungi kantor kami atau melalui WhatsApp number kami. Seperti itu. Dan jangan lupa follow our social media di grow_uniref untuk informasi kegiatan setiap hari yang memang di update-nya ada apa saja, ada webinar tentang apa, tentang spesifik subjek apa, kalian bisa ikuti kegiatan kami di Instagram tersebut, seperti itu. Okay, Hannah, I finished. Maybe I will give back the floor to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I think we are ready for the questions now.
Okay, thank you very much, Hannah and Attila, for the presentations. It's very brief and explain a lot about Red Bull University in Nijmegen, in the Netherlands. We have several questions that we may ask to both of you. So any of you may answer the questions. So the first questions will be, is there any transfer students or transfer of credits from diploma students in Indonesia to have bachelor degree in Nijmegen or in Red Bull University in Nijmegen? So if yes, and then what are the steps that we need to do in order to get the transfer of credit?
Yeah, so I can take this question. Generally speaking, we do not have transfer students, but it really depends on what you have been studying and how long have you been in the university to see if there are any courses, for example, that you could skip because you have already taken certain courses. But for bachelors, for example, sometimes you need 1 year of university to be admissible. So then it just means that you took that 1 year program already, but you will have to take the full course at Radboud, the full 3 years. If you have taken more than 1 year of university, then it will be assessed on an individual basis. But generally speaking, it's not the case that if you have taken 3 years of university and you transfer, you can get a diploma and all your credits will be accepted. Yeah, I hope that answers the question. Harris, I think you are muted.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
no worries.
Can a final year undergraduate students apply for master program in Red Bull University, or should they have the degree first so they can apply for the master program?
Yeah, no, you can apply in your final year of undergrad. That is how usually people do it. And then basically what you get is a conditional offer. So the condition will be that you will have the diploma with the courses and the grades required by the time you would start your studies at Radboud.
Okay. And do you have any PhD scholarship or PhD offer from Red Bull University? Because really there are several webinar participants are asking about PhD programs.
Yeah, so yes, we do have PhD programs as well. In the Netherlands, generally speaking, PhD students are not students, but colleagues. So PhD students get paid for the work, and they also teach at the university. In the Netherlands, generally, people have their PhDs or join a PhD project by applying to a PhD as work. So there is an existing project where they are looking for a PhD researcher, and you apply to this specific project. But there's also a possibility to become an external PhD candidate. Then you can design your own project, and then it's usually self-funded. So you have to apply for funds to get paid for the project as well. You can go on their website that you can see on the slide, and then go to our PhD pages to see the current vacancies that we have and the possibilities for external PhD candidates.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. Very well noted. And the next questions, do the Netherlands offer the post-work study visa? And how long for international students are allowed to stay and look for a job or working in Holland after graduation?
Yes, so we do offer this orientation year visa, it's called. It's 1 year from your graduation. And it basically means that as a international graduate from a Dutch university, you get 1 year with the same rights as if you would be, for example, from Europe, to look for a job. So there are some criteria that you have to meet within that year to be able to stay in the Netherlands, and that is usually to have a contract with a company that can sponsor your visa, your work visa, to stay in the Netherlands. Yeah.
Okay, so there will be a visa, like orientation visa, for a year, right? After
Yes,
we graduate from the university.
exactly.
Okay, well noted, Hannah. So we move on to next questions. Would you please explain a little bit about Rebel Youth Scholarship for master's degree? What are the criteria, and is it full or partial scholarship that Rebel offer to international students?
Yes. So for master's degrees, we offer a different scholarship, and it really depends on the specific program that someone wants to apply to. So it could be that you're applying to, I don't know, a humanities course in philosophy, and there are more scholarship opportunities in that specific program than, for example, if you would apply to law. So it's hard for me to tell what exactly is available because it will really depend on your specific interests. And then also these scholarships usually cover either partially your studies or full. So there's also a large variety of these. The scholarship application starts in your program application. So once you have registered online, you can go into this online platform where you upload your documents, and you will be asked if you would like to apply for scholarships. And there you can upload the certain documents that are necessary. Usually it is a motivational letter and some explanation of your financial status. And then these will be assessed by different scholarship committees based on the scholarship that you are applying to. But I must say that scholarships are competitive. We get a lot of students applying for scholarships. So if someone is they know that they might need financial help, we recommend you looking into other opportunities for scholarships as well, outside of only Radboud's offers.
Okay, very well noted. Next question is related a little bit to city of Nijmegen. You have mentioned before that city of Nijmegen is near German border, right? Germany border. How far is it from Amsterdam to Nijmegen? And does the university offer dormitory and kind of airport pickup if we have just arrived in Amsterdam and we want to go to Nijmegen as the new students? Maybe we don't know how to go there, or maybe we are afraid to get lost. Do you have any pickup for new students and dormitory or housing near the Red Bull University for international students?
Yes, so we offer both of these. Amsterdam is around an hour and 20 minutes from Nijmegen by train. And when the semester starts, we have orientation week. So there are different programs for our new students. And one of the services that we have is airport pickup. So student volunteers and colleagues are at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam to help international students get to Nijmegen. And one of the services that we offer before you even arrive in Nijmegen is help with housing, which is quite unique. Not a lot of universities in the Netherlands offer this. Housing market in the Netherlands is quite challenging. And especially as an international student coming from abroad, it can be quite difficult to find a room in all of the big cities where there are universities. So in Nijmegen as well. At Radboud University, we offer help to find you housing, and we also have a good number of rooms that we can offer on campus for international students. So these are guaranteed housing and also really affordable for internationals, and they are always close to campus. So it's, I think, a very great way also to get to know people and to be in the hub of the university as well.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting. Okay, we move on to next questions. Is it possible for a fresh graduate in law or a Bachelor of Law in Indonesia to apply for master degree in law in the Netherlands or for LLM in Red Bull University, or do we have to complete my law master degree first and then continue for law master degree in Red Bull? Or
Yeah.
can we just go directly after we finish our bachelor in Indonesia?
Yeah, so it will depend on the exact course that someone is following, because for every master's program, we'll look at applications individually. So this really means that depending on the university that you're going to and depending on the courses that you took, the answer might differ. But generally speaking, a bachelor's degree is enough to be admissible for master's, but it will, whether or not that is applicable in your case will really depend on your profile. So I recommend getting in touch with us. You can send an email to this email address on the slide with this question, and then it will be directed to that office. And then you can get in contact with the admissions officer at the Faculty of Law, and they can help you by looking at your transcripts if you would be directly admissible or not. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I believe it will help, because for further info, the international student can directly contact the university.
Exactly.
Okay. The last questions. Would you please share a little bit advice or suggestions for any new international students that go to Red Bull University? Maybe the first 2 weeks or the first month, how to settle in in new environment.
Yeah, of course. So as I said, I was also an international student in the Netherlands. It was already almost 10 years ago. But I think what was really helpful is taking advantage of all the pre-arrival services. So this includes housing, but it also includes, for example, the Facebook group that the university sets up for admitted international students. I know several students who, for example, in that Facebook group connected with other students who are in the same program or the same faculty as they are, and they created a WhatsApp group or a I don't know, Slack channel, and then they got to know each other. So once they actually arrived in Nijmegen, they already had some friends to hang out with. Furthermore, we also have these buddies. So these are current students at Radboud University who sign up to help new international students settling in. So you get in touch usually already before arrival. So you can ask some questions about I don't know, transportation and things you have to keep in mind before arriving. And once you're here, they are basically your first friends, but they also help you, I don't know, opening a bank account, registration at the municipality, finding a new phone contract, very practical things that you will have to think about when you move to a new country. And what I would mention lastly is the orientation week. So the first week of studies, we have a number of different events for incoming students, international degree-seeking students, exchange students, Dutch local students, and there are really a lot of events that you can join to meet new people and ask any questions you may have about living and studying in Nijmegen. So I think all in all, the university is really there, uh, providing you with different services and different occasions to make it easier to settle in Nijmegen.
Wow, that's really complete advices to help a new student to settle in well in the Netherlands. Okay, Hannah and Attila, thank you very much for your presentation and explanation during these question and answer sessions. And for all participants in the webinar, you can see the contact of the university on your screen. So you can follow or ask more. And even more, on Friday and Saturday, we also have virtual fair. So you can directly consult to the university during the time on Friday and Saturday. So do not forget to visit event.ehef.id on Friday and Saturday to have further information. So Hannah and Attila, thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you again very soon. Take
Yes.
care.
Thank you. See you
Bye.
in the fair this
See you on
weekend.
Friday.
Yeah, sure.
See
See
you.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hello. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello everyone, welcome to EHEF Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. My name is Haris and I'm going to be moderating this webinar. This webinar is going to be presented by Ms. Veronica and Ms. Rahma from Erasmus University of Rotterdam. Please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we will hold a question and answer session. If you have any questions about the presentation or anything related to the country's higher education, you can submit your questions in YouTube's comment section anytime throughout the presentations. And without any further ado, please welcome the representative from Erasmus University of Minnesota.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're able to see and hear us well. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening to everyone joining us from Indonesia and other Southeast Asian countries. Welcome to Erasmus University Rotterdam webinar, where we'd like to give you a little bit more information about our university, our international bachelor and master programs, admissions requirements, as well as the campus, the city, and the student life. Today, you'll be hearing from the two of us. My name is Veronica, and I work on the central level of Erasmus University in marketing and communications. And actually, a big part of my job is talking to students who are interested in studying in the Netherlands in general, and at Erasmus University in particular. And that's why I'm happy to have this opportunity to address to so many of you today. I am not Dutch. I am originally from Lithuania, and I was once here an international student myself. However, that was already a while ago. So if you do have questions about what's it like to be an international student here, luckily today I'm joined by our student ambassador, Rahma, who I'm sure will have much more relevant and recent experiences to share. Rahma, I would like to invite you to give a quick introduction about yourself before we start.
Thank you, Veronica. So hi, everyone. I'm Rahma, and I am a final year student at the Erasmus School of Economics, and I am a student ambassador, and I am so glad to be able to have this opportunity to present today.
All right. And Rahma, where do you come from yourself?
I come from Indonesia as well. So yeah.
Okay. I think that's good to know for everyone. So if you do have any questions about what's it like to come from Indonesia and study at Erasmus, Rahma, I'm sure we'll have good stories to share. So I'd like to address the question that is, I guess, on everybody's mind, that is COVID-19 and the situation in the Netherlands as well as at our university. So all of the Dutch universities are actually closely following the official Dutch government advice, which aims to keep the number of infections under control. That means that whatever measures that have been taken at our universities are there because the safety and well-being of our students is the #1 priority. In reality, at the moment, that means that we have to keep 1.5 meter distance from one another. We have to avoid busy places and wear face masks inside public buildings and on public transportation. Access to such places like cafes, bars, restaurants, cinemas, and theaters changes as the situation changes, and it depends on the number of infections. When it comes to education, already in the beginning of the summer, Erasmus University was able to guarantee education to all of its new as well as returning students, either online, on campus, or in a blended form. We do give priority to our first-year students for on-campus education so that they get to experience the student life, the university, and get to know one another a little bit better. Having said that, it's good to bear in mind that there are variations per faculty, as some of them have made the commitment to do online-only education until the end of this year, whereas others are offering a mixed approach with small-scale on-campus education together with online education. What's that going to look like in 2021? We cannot say yet because we have to see how the situation develops. Finally, our international office has also introduced quarantine service for our international students, which help them determine whether or not they have to go into self-quarantine upon arrival to the Netherlands. If they do have to go into quarantine, our international office is going to help them figure out how they can do their grocery shopping online, how can they connect with fellow students who are also quarantining at home, and how to even binge watch their favorite series. All in all, if you are considering studying at Erasmus University, I would advise you to keep an eye on our FAQ Corona webpage, and you'll see that actually every Dutch university has a Corona FAQ page, and this page will be your only most up-to-date and the only official source of information of the measures taken at the university per institution. Now that we've gotten the pandemic topic out of the way, I would like to give you a reminder why the Netherlands is a great study destination to consider. First of all, the Netherlands might be a small country geographically speaking, but when it comes to higher education quality, it is on par with such giants like the US and the UK. All 13 research universities in the Netherlands are ranked in the top 250 globally by Times Higher Education. 8 of them, including Erasmus University, are actually in the top 100. So that means that whichever research university you go for, you're guaranteed very high quality education. Second, the Netherlands is also known for very affordable tuition fees, and that's because the Dutch government subsidizes higher education heavily. That means that students who have an EU or European Economic Area passport, the tuition fees are approximately 2,000 euros a year. And for those who have a passport from outside of those countries, the tuition fee is higher, and I will elaborate on that a little bit further down in the presentation. But even if you compare similar quality programs elsewhere in the world, you'll find that these tuition fees are still very competitive. And finally, English language. Fun fact, the Netherlands has the biggest number of English taught programs in continental Europe. That is, of course, outside of the UK and Ireland. But that means that whatever subject you're interested in, most probably one or another Dutch university has it on offer in English. Most importantly, you do not need to learn Dutch in order to come and study an international program here. Not only because the language of instruction is going to be English, but also because you'll have no problem communicating in English even outside of the classroom and outside of the campus, because the Dutch are notorious for their great English language skills. English actually is an unofficial second language in the Netherlands. So you don't need to learn Dutch to come and study here, but if you plan on staying in the Netherlands after your graduation to look for a job, it's of course always advisable to pick at least a little bit of Dutch language knowledge. Now, a little bit more about our university. We were first set up as an Institute of Commerce by the local Rotterdam businessmen. That's why we're still very well known for our business and economics programs. But of course, in the last century, we have established a strong footing in other subject areas as well. Currently, we're one of the biggest research universities in the country. We're home to a whopping 32,000 student body, 20% of whom come from outside of the Netherlands. And if you look at our international programs only, the percentage is closer to 50-50. These students come and choose one of the 13 international bachelor programs, or one out of more than 50 master programs taught completely in English as well. Here you can see an overview of all 13 international bachelor programs that we have on offer. I'm not going to go through them one-on-one simply because you can find the very same list on the website that I have included at the bottom of the slide. I'm just going to say that in general, we offer a wide variety of subjects, pretty much everything besides STEM. So nothing in science, technology, engineering, or math in its pure sense, even though our econometrics and nanobiology programs do have math in their curriculum. What's common for all of our international bachelor programs is that they're mostly 3 years, with the exception of double degrees that can be 4 to 5 years. And at the end of the studies, the students graduate either with a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Sciences. Both types of degrees are nationally accredited and internationally recognized, meaning that you can take it to absolutely any other university worldwide to continue with your master's studies. When it comes to admissibility to our bachelor programs, there's one very important message that I would like to communicate to you all, and that is that admission requirements, application procedures, and application deadlines in the Netherlands in general differ not per university, not per faculty, but per program. So it is always very important to check the website of the program of your interest for the most up-to-date information. In general, I would say that when it comes to admissibility to our international bachelor programs, it boils down to you having a qualifying high school diploma, as well as English language skills. And then there will be program-specific requirements such as GPA or math, even though math is not a requirement for every program. Also, to give you an example, our application deadlines for bachelor programs are mostly in the months of April and May, but some of them can be as early as January. So once again, it is very important to check that information early on the website of the program of your interest. As I have mentioned before, we have more than 50 master programs taught completely in English, and it was just too many to name them all on one slide. That's why we have indicated the areas in which we offer our master programs. Again, you can find the full list of all of our international master programs on the website that I have indicated at the bottom of the slide. There you'll be also able to watch open session day recordings, as well as have live chats with our students in real time. In general, what I can say about our master programs is that there are 3 types. one, and the most common one, is a one-year master program, which is very intense, and it aims to give our students specialized knowledge in the area of their interest. Second one is a 2-year research master, which is designed for students who would like to pursue a PhD afterwards. And the third one is a post-experience master that can be between 1 or 2 years, and it is designed for students who have at least a few years of working experience in the field. When it comes to admissibility or master programs, it's the same as with our bachelor programs. There is no one overarching requirement that would get you accepted to the program. But having said that, you'll see that most of the programs will require you to have a bachelor degree in a relevant area, to provide a motivation statement, as well as the proof of your English language skills. And then next to that, you'll find that some of the programs will have additional criteria such as GPA, math, reference letter, or even a GMAT. And some of the programs also offer the possibility that if you do not meet the admissions requirements, that you can follow a pre-master program. But again, make sure to check the website of the program of your interest for information about the specific admission requirements, application procedure, and application deadlines. When we're talking about finances, here you can see the breakdown of the tuition fees for our programs. So if you do happen to have a passport from EU or European Economic Area country, you're looking at a tuition fee of approximately 2,000 euros per year for either a bachelor or a master program. But if you have a passport from outside of that area, so for example, Indonesia, then you're looking at the second and the third green squares on the slide. For a bachelor program, the tuition fees for Indonesian students would be in the range between 6,000 and 12,000 euros a year, and for a master program between 4,000 and 26,000 euros a year. As you can see, the tuition fees are dependent on the nationality and the study level, bachelor or master, and there are variations per program. Next to the tuition fees, you should also consider your monthly expenses. I'd say our students are looking at anything between 900 and 1,500 euros a month, and that is including everything: housing, transportation, food, health insurance, so on and so forth. The biggest chunk of that is going to go into housing, because housing in the Netherlands is expensive. If you visit the website that I have indicated at the bottom of the slide, you'll be able to see the breakdown of the living costs in the Netherlands, as well as the tuition fees depending on your nationality, as well as the program that you're interested in. And most importantly, there you'll be also able to find the list of our scholarships. Now, because the Dutch tuition fees for international standards are considered to be affordable, the flip side of that is that there are not as many scholarships as in some other countries. However, there are some great opportunities either on university or faculty level. And if you do rely on financial support throughout your studies, my advice would be to apply for them as early as possible, because competition for them is huge. Working next to your studies is also a possibility, but most of the students bring in their own financial means to support themselves. That's because working next to your studies can be a challenge, because our both bachelor and master programs are very intensive. And also because as a student from outside of the EU, you can work 16 hours a week next to your studies. But again, I would like to emphasize that if you come and study here, your first and foremost focus should remain your studies. When it comes to our graduate employability, we're happy to say that Erasmus University Rotterdam is very well ranked by Times Higher Education, both in the country and internationally. But in the Netherlands, in general, the universities do not offer placements. So it is the responsibility of the student to find a job after their graduation. Having said that, you can expect career services offered on a university level. So on the central level, you'll find workshops such as CV, writing your CV, LinkedIn profile, interview skills. And then on the faculty level, there will be student-led study associations that organize events specific to the program that you're going to be studying, such as networking events with employers as well as with the alumni. And finally, a good piece of information for everyone who's coming from outside of EU and European Economic Area is that after you graduate from any Dutch university, you can apply for a search year visa, which allows you to stay in the country 1 year after your graduation to network and to look for a job in the Netherlands. With that, I would like to give the floor to our student ambassador, Rahma, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the campus, the city, as well as the student life.
Thank you, Veronica. So first, let's talk a little bit about the Erasmus campus itself. So there's a main campus, which is very compact, and it's located in Woudenstein, which is the east part of Rotterdam. And this campus is a central point for most of the students. However, there are some exceptions. So if you are studying at Erasmus University College, your campus will be in the city center. If you study nanobiology, it's a joint program with TU Delft, so that's not going to be in the main campus. And if you are studying at the International Institute of Social Studies, and your campus will then be in The Hague. So to visualize, if any of you have seen movies regarding American universities or European universities, I would like to say that Erasmus University is actually a mix of both. So it has one main campus with most of the faculties, and there are some university buildings scattered around the city. As a campus, the Erasmus campus has a lot of facilities that make it not just a really good study environment, but also for you to develop yourselves and for you to meet people. So there are various facilities. So for example, there is the study areas, and an example would be the Polak building. And here we have the library. So this is where the students mostly study. There are some silent areas, and it's basically just a good way to increase your productivity when you're studying. There is also a theater where there are going to be talks and debates and even movie screenings. There is also restaurants and various food courts, and there's like a lot of choices of food. So for Indonesians who may need halal options or vegetarian options, there's definitely these food options. So there's no need to worry about that. And of course, there's sports facilities. So for you to keep fit as a student, our sports facilities are really extensive. They have 2 training halls, a dance studio, a new gym, and even tennis courts. As of now, the Erasmus University is seeking to invest further in their buildings. They're going to plan to have new buildings, new sports fields. So there's more on the way for you. And as a campus, I really think that the campus location is really strategic. It's on the edge of the city. So it's a 15-minute bike or a 10-minute or a 20-minute tram ride to the main city. So it's just really convenient for you as a student. Next slide. Now, during coronavirus, it's really hard to visit our campus, but don't worry, because there's actually a website where you can virtually experience Erasmus University. So this website, experience.ewer.nl, it lets you scroll through our campus, see 360-degree pictures of our classrooms, watch students' testimonials. So this is a really great way for you to explore our campus further. Next slide. So something that's really important to note is housing, which was briefly mentioned by Veronica. So students arrange their own housing, and this is different for many countries where housing is guaranteed for all students. However, I want to emphasize that in Erasmus, just because you've actually been admitted to the university, it doesn't mean that you automatically have housing. You're responsible to look for housing by yourself, and the university is not going to be an intermediary between you and, for example, a potential housing agency. So just keep that in mind and take responsibility for it. It's not always easy to find housing because since there are a lot of international students, it gets quite competitive in the housing market. However, Erasmus University will provide you some resources as to how you can find housing. So in terms of housing in Rotterdam is really safe and relatively affordable. So you're looking at around 400 euros to 700 euros each month. There are no meal plans, which might be possible in other countries, as in the Netherlands, when you're students, you're expected to be independent. And really importantly is that you have to apply early because it's first come, first serve, and it's very competitive. So there are a lot of different options for you as a student. So there are some on-campus housing for international students. And an example of that is pictured here, which is the Hatta building. So these houses actually only house 25% of the yearly incoming international students, and it's first come, first serve. And don't worry if you don't get these SSH housing, as there are some other options that you can look for. So for example, most students at Erasmus University, they share private rooms inside the city. So for example, you're looking at maybe 4 people sharing a flat, and most of these houses are all a bikeable distance from the university. So it's around maybe 10 or 15 minutes by bike. our international office is currently expanding services to help you with housing situation, such as practical tips and free legal advice. So based on from my own experience for housing, I actually got to stay at the Hata building in my first year, which is the building pictured here. And what I did was that the day the housing registrations were opened, I immediately signed up. So that's how I got it. So I think I just want to keep emphasizing that it's so important to apply early. And furthermore, there are also other housing options apart from the private market, like the student hotel, which is also a housing option, which is just for 1 year. Next slide. So now let's talk a little bit about Rotterdam as a city. So as you can see in the pictures just now, Rotterdam is very modern, and that might be a little bit different from what you imagine of a Dutch city, which may be more classical and has more classical architecture like Amsterdam. So the reason for this is that Rotterdam was completely destroyed during World War II. And this is why there's no old town in the city center anymore. And instead, it has become this playground for architects where the architecture is now more experimental. And even though the buildings are not like a typical Dutch building, it still has a very European feel, but it's just more modern, dynamic, and urban, which I think is great for students. And in terms of its city, Rotterdam has a huge port, the Port of Rotterdam, which is one of the most important ports in Europe. And there are also lots of multinational corporations which uses Rotterdam as their home base, such as Unilever. And this means that there's a lot of career opportunities for when you graduate. And another thing that I really like about Rotterdam is how it's a melting pot of cultures. So as an international student, you want to feel at home. And I think Rotterdam has that because it's a really diverse place with people from so many nationalities and cultures. So I think as a student, you'll definitely feel right at home and you'll feel welcome. Next slide. In terms of student life, there's definitely so much that you can do other than study. Firstly, you can join the sports and social clubs, like what was mentioned just now in the gyms. So sports are separate from higher education, which is a little bit different from, for example, countries in the US. But there's, of course, lots of opportunities for you to participate in sports from basketball, kayaking, you basically name it. And also, apart from sports associations, each faculty has their own associations. So for example, I'm in the economics faculty, and I often participate in events hosted by the economic faculty Rotterdam, which is my faculty's association. And this is a really great experience for you to develop yourself as an individual and also meet people in a fun setting. So these associations organize networking events, career events, city trips, etc. There are also other associations focused on technology, entrepreneurship, and sustainability. So I think in this picture, this is the Erasmus the campus garden, and this is a project done by the Erasmus Sustainability Hub. So basically, you can have a lot of opportunities to learn about sustainability, and you can also look, if you're interested in entrepreneurship and technology, there are other clubs like the Erasmus Tech Community or the Erasmus Center for Entrepreneurship. And all these events are just a really great way for you to meet people and develop yourselves. And also there is the Erasmus Student Network, which offers a lot of activities for both international and Dutch students. And I think it's a really amazing way for you to meet people. They have some introduction days when you first come into the Netherlands. So all in all, I think that Erasmus University is not just strong in terms of their academics, but also in terms of their student life. It's really diverse. There's so many things that you can do, and whatever you're interested in, Erasmus University will help you channel your passion and interests. Next slide. And of course, being a new student is always challenging, especially since you're an international student. It's this new environment. But don't worry, Erasmus University, they have your back. So you can talk to Student Buddy, which was what I did when I first came to the Erasmus University. And I still talk to my Student Buddy, and that's a really great way for me to get to know the studies, get to know what I can do in the university. There's airport pickups. There's also the one-stop shop, which is going to be really important for you to deal with all of the administrative related issues, such as insurance, registration at the municipality, even housing if you still haven't found housing yet. And there's the Eureka Week, which I also participated in. And it's a great opportunity for you to meet people and meet people from your study. And of course, cycling lessons, which are great for non-Dutch students who can't cycle, because cycling is a great way for you to travel around the Netherlands. Next slide.
All right, thank you, Rahma, for this honest account and for sharing your own experiences. I'm sure that is highly appreciated. I sincerely hope that listening to the session was useful for you, and I would just like to recap the main points, and that is Erasmus is a very well ranked and one of the biggest research universities in the Netherlands. We offer 13 international bachelor programs and more than 50 master programs in English as well, to a very international student body. We have one modern campus that resembles that you would usually see in the American movies, as well as a few faculties scattered throughout the town. And we're located in the modern, hip, and dynamic city of Rotterdam. If you do have questions about any of the topics that we have addressed today, make sure to visit our website. You'll find that a lot of information under practical matters such as housing, immigration, and tuition fees, and then of course, find your study pages for more information about our study programs. And of course, as it was mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, Erasmus University is also taking part in the fair that is organized by EHEF this Friday and Saturday. We're going to have 3 booths. So we're going to have the Erasmus University Rotterdam general booth. Next to it, you see the Zoom ID number for it. If you're interested in business and management programs, then you should visit our Rotterdam School of Management booth. Again, I have included the Zoom ID number next to it. And if you're thinking of studying development studies at our International Institute of Social Studies, make sure to follow the link that is also displayed at the bottom of the slide. Thank you so much for listening for this webinar. And I believe now we will have some time for the Q&A.
Wow. What an extensive explanation from Ms. Veronica and Ms. Rahma. Thank you very much for the presentations. Now we will have several questions to both of you. The first question will be, there are several same questions regarding this. Do Erasmus University Rotterdam accept transfer students, for example, from diploma students to bachelor degree program? Or do they have to complete their first diploma and then try to admit for the bachelor's?
Right. So
they have transfer students.
Right. So as far as I know, if students are studying at a different university elsewhere outside of the Netherlands, they will have to apply to the university program at Erasmus University, just like all the other students. It is possible that some of the credits might be transferred if the courses were similar, but that is not guaranteed. And bottom line, they will have to apply as any other student.
So maybe for some cases, there will be some courses that can be admitted, but it depends on what field or what course they would like to take.
Yes, right? and if those courses can be recognized the same as in the European credit transfer system. So that's why I don't want to give an answer that it will be done for sure. The student should contact the admission officer of the program where they would like to transfer, and they can give them the answer whether or not their credits could be transferred. But I know that in terms of application, they will have to apply just like any new student.
Okay, very well noted. For next questions, if somebody would like to take a master degree in Erasmus, do they have to have working experience first? And if yes, then how to apply? Do they have to submit the certificate of the working experience, or just simply saying that I have been working for this for 2 years? and it will be examined by the university.
Right. So working experience is not required for all of the programs. Working experience is only required for post-experience programs, and you'll find that the post-experience programs are the MBA, development studies, and the studies offered at our housing institute. They will require usually up to 3 years of work experience, and when it comes to the proof of what you have, I believe it will come in a form of reference letters, but don't quote me on that. It's best to check that on the website of the specific program that you're interested in to prove your working experience. But the majority of our master programs, so the regular one that are 1 year or the 2-year research master programs, they don't require work experience.
Okay, so mostly they do not require any working experience in order to apply for the master degree, right?
No, it's only the post-experience programs.
So we move on to next questions. Are final years undergraduate students able to apply for master degree program in Erasmus? So they are not graduated yet from bachelor degree here in Indonesia. Can they apply for the master degree program? Should they graduate first and then apply for the master program?
No, it's very common for bachelor students from all over the world to apply in their last year of bachelor to a master program at our university, as well as to all the other Dutch universities. And our admission officers are more than used to that. They know how to handle that. They will most probably give you a conditional offer if you meet the requirements at the time of application. And then once you submit your final diploma, the conditional offer is going to be turned into a definite offer. But once you have the conditional offer and you know that you're going to be graduating for sure, that you are going to get your bachelor diploma, then when you have the conditional offer, you can already start dealing with immigration of issues and housing as well.
Well noted. Next question, is there any representative office of Erasmus University in Indonesia?
Not to my knowledge, although you can always get in contact with our NASO Indonesia office, so Nuffic NASO. They represent all Dutch higher education from the Netherlands, not only Erasmus University, but the other Dutch universities as well. And of course, I would also try and get in touch with our university alumni. We have a lot of alumni in Indonesia, big communities there. They would be able to help you to answer specific questions or get perhaps connected with someone at Erasmus University.
Yeah, because right now is in the pandemic situation, so it's a little bit difficult to travel or to get more information. So perhaps if there is any representative in Indonesia, so future international students can be easier to get more information regarding university.
Yeah, we understand. Of course, it's very unfortunate that at the moment it's harder to travel, but we do have a number of online events, such as this one as well, where you can get in contact with us and get to talk to one-on-one representatives as well. I know it's not the same as having face-to-face communication, but other than that, the Nuffic NASO Indonesia office or our alumni community in Indonesia as well would be very helpful.
Can I add something?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so there is actually a platform on the Erasmus University website where you can chat with a student, so student ambassadors like me, and they have ambassadors for every program, so economics, business. So if you want to talk to an Indonesian student, you can look through the ambassadors and see if there are some Indonesians, because it has our picture and our country as well. So I think it will be a good experience to ask current students so they know the situation better. It's called UniBuddy. Awesome. So,
yeah. Wow, okay. That's awesome. So maybe if some future international students would like to know more, they can visit the website, right?
Of course,
is it a website or is it an application?
It's the website under chat with a student.
Okay.
Yeah. So when students visit our website and they go on the program page, there was going to be a little chat box opening up from a student ambassador saying, hey, how can I help you? And if you click on it, you'll be able to see the offer of all of our ambassadors who are available via UniBuddy, and you can choose depending on the program of your interest or the nationality.
Okay, well noted. Next questions. There are several same questions. The question will be whether is it possible if you take or you have already bachelor degree in one field, but you want to take your master degree in different field, is it possible, or do they have to have like adjustment first, or some requirements, specific requirements, in order to get the master degree? For example, from students, bachelor degrees in anthropology, and they would like to take media studies for master program. Is it possible, or do they have to take some specific requirements?
Right. So it's hard to answer this question because every program has program specific requirements. And for some with anthropology background, for example, I can imagine you could apply to history or even arts and culture or communications, providing that you can prove your motivation as well as how your future career vision connects with your studies. But for programs like economics, medicine, law, business, they will require a certain number of related courses in your bachelor in order for you to be able to do that master. So again, it really depends on which master program you're interested in. I cannot give you a yes or no answer because there will be variations per program. And some programs have fewer program specific requirements, such as specific courses, but programs like business, economics, law, and medicine will require you to have related courses in your bachelor.
Okay, very well noted. Next questions. Somebody is interested in CEMS program for master, or CHEMS program for master. What is the requirement for that program? And if he has already graduated from Australian university, do they have to apply for the IELTS score as well? And also about GMAT, how much score to get in for the program? Do you have any information for
Yes, so
that?
I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but you should definitely check the website of the CEMS program on Rotterdam School of Management School. There they list you the very specific requirements. I'll be honest, I'm not an admissions officer myself, so I cannot give you a definite answer, especially with the IELTS, whether or not you should take it even if you have studied already in Australia. My feeling is no, but it's better to check that for sure. But there will, of course, be business related courses requirements. You also have to speak 3 CEMS official languages. So once again, you can check that requirement on the website. And for GMAT, I believe the average is approximately 644 from the applicant score applying to Rotterdam School of Management in general. But again, make sure to check the website of this program in general, or visit the Rotterdam School of Management booth this weekend, so Friday or Saturday, by following the Zoom ID link that is posted on the slide.
Right. I think that's also the best idea. So you guys, if you would like to know more about Erasmus University, you can also join us on Friday and Saturday during the virtual fair. You can see the Zoom meetings on your screen, and later you can join for further information regarding the requirements for the admission of Erasmus University. Okay, next questions. Is there any scholarship offered by the university? If yes, is it only for bachelor degree, or also for master, or also for PhD program?
Right. So the short answer is yes, there are scholarships available to students from Indonesia as well as other countries. If you go to our scholarships page, you'll be able to filter them based on your nationality. And before this webinar, I checked for Indonesian students. At the moment, there are 10 scholarships, but they are different per program and faculty. Not every faculty will offer the same scholarship or grant. They will differ per level. Some are for bachelor, other are for master students, and some PhD. Although I have to say that there are fewer scholarships for bachelor and more for master and PhD students. And then even the amount of the scholarship or the grant will be very dependent, as some of them will cover the tuition fee, whereas others will also cover your living expenses or travel costs, or it will be a 30% discount from the tuition fee. So again, it differs per program, per study level, the amount, as well as on the nationality. And in order to be able to apply for that scholarship, there are also differences per criteria, as some of the scholarships are awarded to excellent students who have excellent grades already, and whereas other scholarships and grants are awarded to students who come from disadvantaged backgrounds or have a support from the governmental organization. So the short answer is yes, but you should always check the scholarship page of our university and just filter it based on your nationality, and you'll be able to see which program and which faculty offers something for you.
All right. And maybe they can have more information during the virtual fair, I think, right? Regarding the scholarship as well.
For sure, for sure.
Okay. Okay, Veronica and Rahma, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your presentations. We do hope we can meet again on Friday and Saturday during the virtual fair. And for everybody, for participant of this webinar, please do not forget to join us again during the virtual fair on Friday and Saturday. You can access it through event.ehef.id. So thank you very much for Veronica and Rahma. I do hope that this pandemic will be over soon so we can have our life back to normal and we can continue our study again directly, recently, without any online meetings. And thank you for coming.
Yes.
And
Thank you for
see
having us. Thank you for
Yeah, thank
hosting
you.
us. Yes, and best of luck in your search, and perhaps we'll see you in the Netherlands or at Erasmus University.
Amen for that. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, okay, shall we start?
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to EHEF Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. My name is Haris, and I'm going to be moderating this webinar. This webinar is going to be presented by Mr. Edward and Ms. Ineke as the representatives of IHE Delft. Please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we will hold a question and answer session. If you have any questions about the presentation or anything related to the country's higher education, you can submit your questions in YouTube section anytime throughout the presentations. Now, without any further ado, please welcome the representative of IHE Delft, Mr. Edward and Ms. Ineke. Time is yours.
Hello. I hope I'm visible to everybody.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this webinar of IHE Delft. I'll be presenting the next 30 minutes a presentation about our institute, followed by a Q&A together with my colleague Ineke. So my name is Edward. I'm the marketing officer of IHE Delft, and I'll guide you through my presentation. So I'll be sharing my screen now, and I hope the presentation is visible to everybody now. Okay. So IHE Delft. IHE Delft, the full name is IHE Delft Institute for Water Education. And we are the largest international graduate water education institute in the field of water in the world. So we confer fully accredited MSc and PhD degrees. And the Institute also carries out numerous research and capacity development projects throughout the world. So IHE Delft came to life in 1957, and the Institute has provided education to over 23,000 water professionals from over 190 countries. Kind of a nice thing to say is that of all the alumni we have, most the country that provided us with most alumni is Indonesia. We have over 1,500 alumni from Indonesia. So IHE Delft is located in Delft in the Netherlands. And we're about 1 hour by train away from Amsterdam, 2 hours by train from Brussels, and 3.5 hours by train from Paris. Also, London is nearby, and Germany and Belgium are our neighboring countries. So we can say we're in the heart of Europe. The mission of IHE Delft is we work in partnership to strengthen capacity in the water sector to achieve global sustainable development. And our mission is to work on capacity development and to make a tangible contribution to achieve all the sustainable development goals in which water is key. Education. So IHE offers a wide range of flexible, specialized educational programs. So we offer MSc programs, a PhD program, short and online courses. And what makes us very special is that all our programs are about water, and that makes us very unique in the world. So I'll focus my presentation on the MSc programs. So at IHE, we offer 5 accredited Master of Science programs, and we offer within those programs 17 specializations. 3 of those specializations are so-called European Joint Master of Science programs, and they are conducted with other European universities. I'll tell a little bit more about them in a minute. So in this table, you can see, let me put on the laser pointer. In this table, you can see the number of students that enrolled last year, so 2019, in these programs. So that was in total 275 MSc students, of which most joined the Water Science and Engineering program. In this scheme, you can see the different programs and the different specializations. So I won't read out all of the specializations, but I'll tell you a little bit about each program. So we have a MSc program in environmental science, basically dealing with all aspects of environmental science, both the science, the technology, but also sometimes the planning and management aspects, depending on the specialization you choose. And for example, environmental science and technology, there's a lot of lab work involved. It's a bit more on the technology side than, for example, the planning and management specialization. That is a blend of science, technology, but also planning and management aspects of environmental science. The program in urban water and sanitation deals with the treatment of water, of wastewater.
Mr. Edwards,
Yes.
sorry for interrupting. Would you please make the presentation full screen, please? So it looks a little bit small from the 3 dots on the right.
Yes.
Yes, and then hide presenter view. No, on top. One more. Hide presenter view. Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Perfect. Sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. So I hope it's better now. I hope it's you can read all the letters now. So I was in the urban water and sanitation program. So dealing with wastewater treatment, with water supply, with all sanitary aspects of water. Also dealing with sewerage systems, centralized and not centralized, in these 3 different specializations. There is a new program on sanitation. This is a 1-year program that is focused on non-sewered sanitation. The program in water management and governance is, I can say, that the least technical program of IHE, and it deals with management and governance aspects of water, and also involves economics, law, as well as social sciences. It's quite a broad program, and special in this program is that you can compose your own study trajectory. So you can also, together with the study advisor, opt for a program that is a blend between those management and governance aspects, as well as maybe some technical or scientific topics of water. The program in water science and engineering well, actually has two Erasmus Mundus specializations. Those are the ones I talked about earlier. Those specializations are jointly with other European universities, and in which you will study about 1 semester, so half a year, in each of these universities. For example, groundwater and global change, you will start in Lisbon in Portugal for 1 semester, then arrive at IHE Delft for 1 semester, and after that you will go to Dresden in Germany for the final semester, and then you choose one of these 3 universities to do the thesis research. So it's a 2-year program in total. Flood risk management has a similar setup, but with different universities. All the other specializations here are Delft-based, so that means they're 18 months, and the taught part will be in Delft. The research part can be in Delft or in another, for example, in Indonesia or in another country, depending on what kind of research you are about to do. And I can tell a little bit more about that in this scheme. So this is basically the setup time-wise of the programs. So we are now here, November 2020. This is 2021, so next year, and you'll see in October the programs will start, 3rd week of October. Then the first year of the program is a taught part, so that runs from October 21 to October 22. In that taught part, basically you will have a batch of 3-week modules on the different topics within your specialization, as well as excursions and group work at the end of the taught part. Then also at the end of the taught part, you will prepare for your thesis research, and that will take another half a year. And that really depends on the topic you have chosen. It can be lab work, for example, at IHE Delft. It can also be field research in another country. But it all ends with writing the thesis at the end of the period and graduating sometime in April. So this is 18 months in total. The MSc program in sanitation, so that's the 5th MSc program, takes 1 year to complete. So it also starts next year in October, but here you will graduate in October. So it's a bit more concise, this program. Thesis research is about 3 months, I think. Top part is 9 months. So if you're interested in these programs, you should apply before the 1st of August next year, the latest. But we recommend everybody to start application as soon as possible, because most of the scholarship deadlines are in the beginning of next year. So for example, and I'll go 1 slide back, the 2 Erasmus Mundus programs I just mentioned, their deadline is in January 15, So that's quite soon. So if you're interested in one of those, you really have to start applying as of today, I would say. And other scholarship programs have deadlines in February, March, April. So it's really important to start applying now, collecting your information. I'll tell a little bit more about the various scholarship programs in a minute, as well as what you need in order to submit your application. So the entry requirements for our MSc programs are well, at least a bachelor degree in a related field, and that depends, of course, on the specialization. Examples of bachelor degrees are civil engineering, environmental science, the earth sciences, chemistry, agricultural engineering, but also you can have a background in social sciences, then most likely if you are if you have some kind of relation with water or water management or governance, you'll join the MSc program in water management and governance. Furthermore, you need a strong motivation to successfully complete the program. We find it really important that you write a good motivation letter. Then we appreciate relevant working experience. A lot of our students have worked in practice for a couple of years before they join our programs. But also, and I would say especially in the Erasmus Mundus programs, people come straight from university, but it's a blend. Some people have 1 year experience, others have 5, 6, 7 years of working experience. It's really a blend of different people with different working experiences. Well, then the English language, it's really important to have those scores also in time. So if you're not addressing that at the moment, you should really start soon. IELTS is 6.0, but we prefer 6.5. Or TOEFL internet-based test, 80 overall and more than 70 for writing. The TOEFL paper test, 65 overall and also more than 70 for writing. And all of this information is available in more detail, of course, on our website. As I mentioned before, last year 275 students joined our programs. Well, here you see from which places of the earth they came. Well, common denominator, I would say, is that most of our students come from the global south, and that makes us also quite special because all the water-related subjects we teach have a are about issues that are pressing issues in the global south. So that makes us quite specialized. So we are about water, and we are about water issues in the global south. What else? So the MSc programs, the tuition fee is about 22,500 euros for the full 18-month program. And the cost of living is approximately 1,000 euro per month. So that all totals for the whole MSc program to about 48,000 euros. Well, a lot of our students, they come supported with a scholarship. And luckily for Indonesia, there are a couple of scholarship opportunities. I mentioned Erasmus Mundus before. So the Erasmus Mundus scholarships are only for the 2 Erasmus Mundus programs. So this deadline is 15 January. They're quite high on demand. So we get a lot of applications for those programs. So you really have to, if you want to make a chance to get this scholarship, you really have to write an excellent motivation letter. And also your grades have to be really high and good. Furthermore, scholarships are issued by StuNet. That's a program run by NUFIC, NASO in Indonesia. The Joint Japan World Bank Graduate Scholarship Program, and a program we run with Rotary International. All this information is available on our website. And these programs are have certain conditions. For example, StuNet is available for most of our programs, but the Joint Japan World Bank Scholarship Program is available, I think, for the Water Management and Governance Program, Environmental Science and Technology Program, and the MSc Program in Sanitation. Rotary International scholarships are available for all our programs except for environmental science. And then Erasmus Mundus is only available for the 2 Erasmus Mundus programs. But more information about this you'll find on the website. You can apply free of charge to our programs by going to the website, choose your specialization, and press the apply button, and that will take you to our application environment. People with who are interested in the Erasmus Mundus programs may apply for an Erasmus Mundus program, as well as another program that is fully Delft based. So you can apply for 2 programs. In all other cases, you can only apply for 1 program per year. Like I said, application deadline 1st of August, but most people start to apply now and submit their application within the next couple of months, depending on the scholarship they are interested in. Let's see, I have about 7 minutes before we go to the questions, so I'll speed up a little. Yeah, a little bit about the PhD program. IHE has currently about 100 PhD fellows enrolled in the PhD program. PhD program takes about 4 years to complete. In the future, we try to shorten that to 3 years, but now it's still 4 years. PhD fellows can be placed at IHE Delft, but also in the country of origin. That depends. I think it's right now it's about 50-50 maybe. Yeah, I think so. For example, PhDs that are based in Delft are doing a lot of lab work, or they don't necessarily have to be in their home country. The PhD degrees are awarded jointly with the Dutch university, and we collaborate mainly with the Delft University of Technology and Wageningen University, but also with University of Amsterdam and the University of Twente. And of course, it's logical that the more technical, the water science and engineering aspects are mainly with TU Delft. Same goes for Wageningen, but then with a more agricultural component. And the University of Amsterdam is a bit more on the social science side, so more of the water management and governance side of water. Because of our collaboration with these universities, the LPDP program of Indonesia may fund your PhD. That has happened to a number of our PhD fellows that either have graduated or are currently in the program. So go to the website to see the possibilities for this. Yeah, a little bit about our chair groups. So we have 13 chair groups on all different aspects of water, ranging from the urban water and sanitation subjects like water supply, to the management and governance aspects of water, as well as the more technical and hydraulic engineering side of things in the chair groups such as coastal systems and river basin development. Also interesting is the hydroinformatics chair group. They deal with all kind of modeling and informatics tools, GIS tools that can support water management. Well, and these chair groups basically cover a certain aspect of water. You see that in this scheme. If you're a PhD fellow, you are linked to a professor and thus linked to one of these chair groups. One example of someone from Indonesia, this is Sebrian. Sebrian started his PhD in 2018 at the Coastal Systems Engineering chair group. Well, his PhD is on mangrove mudflat dynamics. So basically he's studying the interface between a mangrove and the mudflats near the coastline. He's working a lot on with models. So these are hydrological modeling software. He is funded by the LPDP program. He has a master degree. That's his background from the Brawijaya University in Malang. And currently he's also there a lecturer. So he's doing his PhD from Indonesia. Well, with 2 minutes left, I can say a few things about short and online courses. So we have a lot of short courses. We offer each year about 80 of them, or 70, I should say. They are 3-week short courses, mainly conducted throughout the year. And they take place in Delft, but also we have courses that are online, and every year we add more of those courses to our curriculum. These online courses are online, of course, and you can just enroll without having to travel. We also conduct 1-week summer courses in July. Well, all of this information is available on our website, of course. On the website, you will also find open courseware. That's basically a glimpse into the education we give on a lot of different topics. They're free of charge. You can just download course material and see recorded lectures to get an idea of what we teach, and also to actually start learning. You can access it straight away, and the only thing you have to do is to register, and then you have access to this open courseware. alumni network. Well, alumni are coming from all parts of the world. We're a real international institute. Employment, yeah. So basically, a lot of our alumni work at either academia, governments, but also increasingly in private sector organizations, international organizations, and NGOs. For example, in Indonesia, the International Port Corporation has a lot of our graduates who are active there, but also the Ministry of Public Works has a lot of our graduates who are addressing currently pressing water issues. But also at academia, for example, at the ITB, Bandung, Bogor, Surabaya, our graduates are teaching, for example. I have 1 minute left for some pictures. The beautiful city of Delft with the canals. It's well, really nice. It's a nice place, and our campus is located in the heart of Delft. So actually, on this canal, this is called the Oude Delft. Our building is located. We have a lovely garden. Picture of one of the classes. You can see it's like you can meet the whole world at IHE, people from a lot of different backgrounds and cultures. If you join our courses, you can, a lot of people do sports. We make use of the sports facilities of Delft University of Technology, and we have a number of events we organize every year. For example, the International Sports Day. This is a picture of the field work. So we try to get out of the institute with our students a lot to either do measurements or to visit water sector organizations. This is another picture of a field trip to France that usually takes place in the summer. At World Water Day, we always organize something with our students, or students organize themselves. And this is the concluding picture. This is the graduation after 1 year or 18 months. We have our graduation ceremony, and it's always very festive. With that, I'm going to close this presentation, and I'll stop sharing to answer some of your questions. I hope you have. Well, in case you have questions, you can ask them now, but you can also meet with us Friday or Saturday at the EHEF fairs. Please also like us on Facebook or subscribe to our newsletter. You can do that by going to our website, and at the bottom you can subscribe to keep up to date with all our activities and scholarship opportunities. So again, thank you, and I hope there are a couple of questions Ineke and myself can answer.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Edward, for your presentation. What an interesting presentation about IHE Delft. There are several questions for you, so hope you can answer the question from the webinar participants.
Of course.
Okay,
and also I'm going to ask my colleague Ineke to join.
Okay, sure. Okay, so the first question is, can someone who does not have any background from science or field related to water or engineering to apply to IHE Delft University? If yes, then what kind of requirements needed for them to apply for international students?
I'm going to ask Ineke to answer.
Yeah, that depends on the program you are applying for. And like Edward already told, for the master program in water management and governance, then you do not really need science or technical background. But it's good, of course, that you check the master programs at the website and see if you find it an interesting program. And there you see the admission requirements. And if you do not have the science or engineering background and have a strong motivation, then you can also apply.
Okay, so basically there is no compulsory requirements for you to have like a science background or engineering background in order to apply for master program.
Yeah, of course, applying, everybody can apply. It's free. We do not charge an application fee, but yeah, if you apply for an engineering program, then you will not be admitted. So it depends on the type of program you're applying for and your interest.
So maybe the future international students can check directly to the website and what kind of requirements needed for them to join the university.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
All right. Okay, next questions. Do you have special programs or programs for dam engineering or dam management? I know it's a very specific program, but do you have that kind of program?
I think then,
Like
then the most
dam management?
closest is water science and engineering and hydraulic engineering and river basin development. I think this program, if someone is interested with dams, then yeah, at least maybe in fact check all the specializations of the water science and engineering program, and then you read more about it.
Okay. Okay, next questions. We can see that the IHE Delft have like UNESCO logo on it. Is it related, or can we like work to UNESCO after we graduate from IHE Delft, or do you have like connections or something like that from your from the university to UNESCO?
You want me to answer, Ineke?
Yeah,
or?
that's fine. Yeah.
Well, IHE is a so-called Category 2 UNESCO Institute, and that means that we are a Dutch foundation, but we are linked to UNESCO. So yeah, it's a bit hard to in a nutshell to explain the relation, but we in our projects we work closely with the International Hydrological Program of UNESCO. For example, on gathering hydrological data or to deal with transboundary waters. And also we work with a lot of UN-related organizations in these projects. So it happens that people who join our programs, for example, in the research phase, join one of these projects, and then somehow find their way after graduation to one of these programs. So that's very well possible. I would say it's not only limited to UNESCO, but also to the UNEP, UNICEF. We also work with the World Bank, and some of our graduates, they find employment indeed in these international organizations or programs run by these organizations.
Okay, thank you very much. Very well noted. And the last questions, do you have any quick advice or tips for any upcoming international students from Indonesia who would like to apply for IHE Delft? Yeah, kind of tips or tricks or advice for them who would like to join.
Yeah, it's important to go through the programs to see which program interests you most, because it's often noted that people apply for a program and then you think, yeah, you could better apply for another one. And then prepare carefully your application. So several documents are required. So read carefully what documents are required and pay attention for it, and also apply in time. If you want to apply for a scholarship, then the scholarship deadlines are usually very early in the year, so time is required to collect your recommendation letters. So yeah, that's an advice I could give.
Okay, so we have to apply very carefully, and we have to take a look for all matters that needed to apply for the university and prepare everything. Right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Edward and Mrs. Ineke for your time and also presentations. We do hope that we can meet you again during our virtual fair on Friday and Saturday. So everyone, the participant of this webinar, please do not forget to join us on Friday and Saturday during our virtual fair so you can have more information regarding universities that you would like to join. You can get more information, and also you can contact directly to IHE, Delft, or any university that you are interested on. So thank you very much for Mr. Edward and also
Thank
Ms.
you.
Sinica for your time.
Thank you.
Take care, and I do hope that this pandemic will be over so we can have our normal life back soon. Thank you very much, and see you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello, Darren. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Shall we start?
Yeah, sure. Can you see my presentation slides?
Not yet. So I think I will start to introduce you first to the audience, and then later afterwards you can start the presentation.
Yep.
Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to EHEF Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. My name is Haris, and I'm going to be moderating this webinar. This webinar is going to be presented by Mr. Darren from International Institute of Social Studies. Please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we are going to have question and answer session. If you have any question related to the webinar or the presentation or anything related to the country's higher education, you can submit your questions in YouTube's comment section anytime throughout the presentation. And now, without any further ado, please welcome the representative of International Institute of Social Studies, Mr. Darren. Time is yours.
Well, thank you very much for the introduction. Can everybody see the presentation at the moment? Hello, can anybody, I hope everybody can see the presentation. I'm just going to give can you see the presentation?
Right now we can only see you. Maybe you can start the presentations and share it and it will go directly online.
Yeah, that's what I'm already doing. I'm already sharing the presentation. Can you see it now?
Yes, but okay, yeah. But can you make it full screen so everyone can see it?
Oh.
All right, I think that's perfect.
Very good. Well, sorry for that minor technical difficulties, everyone. As already mentioned, my name is Darren, and I am from the International Institute of Social Studies, and I am responsible for the education marketing and also the enrollment of future master students to ISS. That is my task, and I hope everybody is staying fine and healthy during these crazy times, very unexpected how things are going. Nevertheless, we already have a lot of students that are at ISS, even though there are a lot of restriction coming to ISS or to the Netherlands this year because of the pandemic. Out of the 125 students that we have, already around 70 students are already at ISS. They are not coming to the university yet, but they're doing online education at the moment. But there is a talk that in January we will move to a more blended study. So that is the hope for January, and then come September for the new students, hopefully some of you or all of you, we will have a physical class. Let's hope. But that is what we would like to see, and let's see how it goes. So these are the contents of what we're going to talk today. I'm going to give you a little introduction about ISS, what programs you have, what funding opportunities that you can take as an Indonesian students, how is it like living in the Netherlands, about The Hague a little bit, and also a little bit about the ISS alumni. So in a nutshell, we were founded in 1952. So we were an independent institute until 2009. Then we started to join Erasmus University, but we still kept our status of an independent institute. We have a multicultural learning environment. For example, there are many lecturers and also students that come from around the world. Like in 2018, we had about 52 different countries that actually, students from 52 different countries that actually studied at ISS. So that is super amazing. And the great thing is you learn from different cultures as well. So multicultural learning environment. International student staff, as I related to what I mentioned earlier. So there's a lot of lecturers coming from abroad, not just Dutch lecturers. Everything is in English, so all the education and also the lectures and assignments are all provided in English. We use interdisciplinary approach. What it means is how the lecturers in class is not just all about books, but it's also about assignments, also about how you learn to be together as a team to achieve an outcome. And the other thing is whatever the lecturers that are giving their talk to you, they're also bringing their own projects that they are actually working on, and also teaching what they are learning towards to you. So it's like a give and take. So that's what interdisciplinary approach is at ISS. So you all not only learn from the lecturers also learn from you. So it goes two ways. That's wonderful, I think. So we have our research, of course. Our research is focused on 4 different subjects: the migration and diversity, conflict and peace, social protection and equality, environment and climate change focus. So this is probably more interesting than my previous slides, I think. As you can see, the highest number of students, this is comparison of 5 years, students who came to ISS to do their master program. So 2016 to 2020, as you can see, Asian students are ruling. The Asian students means students from Indonesia, from India, from China. We have the highest number of students from this continent itself, and then followed by Africa, and then Latin America, Europe, North America, Middle East, and then Oceania. Oceania means like New Zealand and Australia. So a lot of students coming from Asia to study at ISS, which is really good. I think in my next few slides, I'll be also showing the number of Indonesian students we currently have, and also in the past 5 years. That is. As you can see, this year, 2020 and 2021, we have 21 students studying at ISS at the moment. I'm not sure if everybody has arrived, but at least half of them has arrived. I have met a few, but not all because of the pandemic itself. Last year, we had 15, the year before 28, and then in 2017, 20. And then the highest number we had in the past 5 years, 31, but we of course have 43 in 2014, 2015. So it's fluctuating, but it's always really good numbers. So that is something that we are really proud of. And that's why Indonesia is something that we keep dearly in our heart. And every year I actually travel to Indonesia for the European Higher Education Fair without fail. And I'm always helped by ISS alumni. But this year, unfortunately, the pandemic itself, it's not possible at all. As you can see at the map below in green, 43% of our students come from Asia. In 2018-19, we have to update that. It will come. But in general, this is always the case. Asia has the biggest student number, and this is followed by Africa, Latin America. Africa and Latin America, it switches. Sometimes Africa more, sometimes Latin America more. The students, our target audience, as you can see on the left side of the screen at the bottom, our target audience are mainly mid-career professionals, average 30 years old. However, recently we have seen a surge of younger students who just graduated from bachelor program and who would like to study a master program at ISS. And we allow that. Of course, there are certain criteria that you have to meet, for example, social sciences background, but even that, without the social sciences background, but you have proper internship or proper working background, that can compensate for the lack of social science background. So that is wonderful. So we are seeing more and more students coming from bachelor program, which is, I think, really, really good. Of course, there are mid-career, and of course, there are also people who are already in advanced career. For example, 50 years old. We also have students who are 50 years old, 35, and then as young as 21 this year, which is really good, a good blend. So if you're thinking that, oh, I'm so young, can I study here? Yes, you can, because you will learn a lot from the older students, and the older students can also learn a lot from you. So it's not going to be a problem, because it has been trial and tested, and it works perfectly fine. So a little bit more detailed explanation about the master program. It starts in September next year, hopefully with the physical classes that, like I explained to you earlier. It's a 15.5 months course. For about 9 months, you can be at ISS. You have to be at ISS, sorry. And then the last 6 months is up to you what you want to do. When you're doing a research paper, you can either stay at ISS or go back home and graduate from home, because you do not have to do a thesis defense. Everything can be done online. Once you finish a research paper or your thesis, you can already hand it in online. So you do not have to stay the whole 15.5 months. For example, if you have work or you want to go back to your family or something like that. So that is a plus point. It's also an 88 European credit points and not the regular 60, because it's 15.5 months. We have 5 different majors and 1 major track. I will explain a little bit more later. We are looking at IELTS 6.5 with an average of 6.0 for all the sub-subject. As I mentioned earlier, everything is taught in English, so don't worry about that. We have really good, students from Indonesia who can speak tremendously good English. So I don't think it's going to be any problem with that. We have several joint degrees with Vietnam universities and also in Indonesia. I will talk about that later, a little bit later as well. And of course, we have several specialization that you can choose from. Specialization is not a must, but if you do it, it'll be written in your graduation paper. So for example, if you take human rights major and you would like to focus on gender equality or feminism, then that is a specialization. If you choose this specialization, then you will have to write your research paper also based on this specialization. So be careful when you choose your specialization. A specialization is not a must, but if you do choose, it will affect your research paper, because then you have to write a research paper based on your specialization. So we only have 1 intake every year, and that starts in September. As I mentioned earlier, bachelor degree in social science is what we are looking for, but it's not a hard criteria. So remember, if you have good experience working and you have very good internship, or if you have a very good motivation, for those of you who are coming out of a bachelor program, but you're not coming from a bachelor of science, social science, it's still okay. You still can try. It's not me who decides whether you go in or not, accepted or not. It's the, how do you call it? The course leader who accepts you. So you have to be sure that you have a very good motivation letter. The motivation letter is key for you to get into ISS. So if you're going to apply for ISS, this is where you really have to put a lot of effort in, regardless if you have a bachelor's of social science or something else. So as I explained earlier, we have 5 different major and 1 track. So the majors are AFES, Agrarian, Food and Environmental Studies, and then Economics of Development. Most of Indonesian students, they choose Economics of Development. And then we have the Governance and Development Policy. Also Indonesian very much like this subject, especially students from the government sector. Human Rights and Gender Conflict is the most popular major at ISS, always full class with this one, with this major. And then, of course, we have the Social Policy for Development. And then the new track, Governance, Migration, and Diversity track. This one is only 3 years old, and every year we have about 5 or 6 students. This track is different than the rest of the major, because you'll be learning in several different universities during your first semester. So you're not just based at ISS, but you also go to Leiden University, you also go to Erasmus University in Rotterdam. So if you want more information, you can check the website, because it is very clear what criteria you have to meet to join this track. Of course, we have PhD program as well. We have teams for the PhD program. So if you want to apply, you have to apply within these research program teams, the economics of development and emerging markets, civic innovation research, governance, globalization, justice, political economy of resources. If you want to apply for the PhD program, we accept it on an ongoing basis. So there is no deadline, there is no application date. You will have to you have to research our website and then look at potential supervisors that you think can collaborate with you, and then write a proposal of what you would like to do your PhD on, and then also contact the admission office to move forward with your PhD application. Also, the PhD application, there are two different kinds of PhD students. We call it in-house and also one that does abroad. So in-house means you completely stay in the Netherlands for the whole 4 years of your program, or you can also do your PhD program from home. And then I think every year, once or twice, you have to come to ISS to do certain things with your supervisor. The one where you stay abroad are people who are working, and sometimes they take a little bit more longer than the one who actually does PhD the whole 4 years at ISS. And this is the structure, as I said earlier, 4 years. It's part of the Erasmus Graduate School of Social Sciences and Humanities. You'll be given your own office space, and also a computer will be provided. So you'll be part of the like a lecturer as well. You do everything online, as I mentioned earlier, and your research proposal is
Darren, sorry, we can't hear you. We cannot hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Great.
That is so strange.
Sorry for interrupting.
No problem. Well, I'm not sure which part you cannot hear me, but I was talking about the PhD program.
Just the last 30 seconds.
Okay, so the PhD program basically, so all the information, please find it on the website, because I'm not going to go back to my explanation earlier, otherwise we do not have the time. Now, these are postgraduate courses. We used to have many, but now we have one. Postgraduate courses are short courses. So the Sustainable Local Economics of Development course, the SLED, is a 3-month course that is, we work together with another sister institute at Erasmus University as well. And the sister institute is called International Institute of Housing and Urban Development Studies, so IHS. So we work with them, and our lecturer from ISS teaches this course. So if you're interested, also please find it on our website. This is more, you get a diploma after you graduate for the 3-month course. So it's mostly attracting students who do not want to do the master, but want to increase the knowledge in this specific area. I think I mentioned it in a couple of slides ago that we have a few various double degree programs that we are affiliated with. And you can see there are 2 universities. I think one is Gajah Mada and one is Universitas Indonesia that we are affiliated with double degree programs. If you want more information, you can contact the universities, and I think this is probably only for students in that university. So not everybody can join this double degree program. So keep an eye on that. And on top of the master program, the 5 majors and 1 track. We also have another master program. It's called the Mundus MAP program. This is a joint degree program with the Central European University of Hungary and also the University of York and the Barcelona Institute Barcelona in Spain. This is a program where you do 1 year at ISS and then 1 year you can choose where you want to go within University of York or Barcelona. Most students go to Barcelona, but each university of, for example, University of York or the University of Barcelona, they have a specialization. So you have to choose carefully what you want to go and dive into. I think after this slide, there will be, yes, there is. So this is how, in general, the Mundus MAP program works. So as I mentioned earlier, 1 year you'll be at ISS, and then the next year you apply to either to York or to Barcelona. So the first year you have to do your specific courses at ISS, and then you do your research methodology, and then obligatory and optional course, your thesis report, study trip, and internship, and then you fly to the University of York or Barcelona, where you do your coursework and complete your thesis. It sounds like a very short summary, but this is a very intense course. Normally we have around 15 to 20 students studying at ISS at one time for this master program. It could be very interesting for students with a political science background, for example. So have a look at our website again for this. Now, this is the most important page probably, where students always ask, is the funding and scholarship information. For your information, we have a scholarship database in our website. So if you're funding for scholarship, find the funding and scholarship page on our website, and then you will see that there are many scholarships. There's also a database. So you find Indonesia, you click on Indonesia, and then you will see a list of scholarship that students from Indonesia can apply to study at ISS. So maybe that's something for you to think about. But most students, they come using the StuNet, the Orange Knowledge Program, OKP. They come with LPDP. Some come with other means as well. But my advice is to please go and have a look at our scholarship database, because it's very clear what kind of scholarship you can apply. So now, you have done everything, you have been admitted, you have received your scholarship, you have booked your flights, and now you want to come to ISS. And voila. On a normal day without pandemic, on a normal year without a pandemic, we will pick you up. There is a service pickup at the airport. I will also talk a little bit about how you will live in The Hague, a little bit of intercultural communication. And also you will have to know a little bit things about the Netherlands. We will introduce you to the staff and your fellow colleagues. And you will also have to do a diagnostic test. Don't worry so much of the diagnostic test. The diagnostic test tests your Excel skills, some math, some statistics, some English, but do not worry about it, because it's not like a tricky test. Let's say majority graduate pass this test. If you want more information, again, check our website, particularly download our academic calendar on our website. So student life at ISS is wonderful. The very fact that students call the ISS the mini United Nation, because of the sheer different people from different countries and culture that come to one place and mingle with each other and share their knowledge and share their networking information. So that's why our student life is, for me, I'm not a student, but I also joined the student life because it's so wonderful and it's so nice to see different things, different culture, and understand where they're coming from and what kind of culture they're coming from. and also sometimes what kind of food they have. These are all really cool things to know. So when you're here, without the pandemic, hopefully next year there will be an International Day. As I mentioned, International Day is when you gather around with all your colleagues, you wear your national costume, and then you cook your national dish, and then you also explain about your country to other students. So they understand, oh, okay, Indonesia has this and that. When is your Independence Day, for example, what kind of food you have. So that's pretty cool. And of course, you have the sports day that happened in March, April. This year, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we cannot have that. But normally the sports day, it's not just with ISS students, but is with the, I think, 6 or 7 different universities in the Netherlands combined, and you will compete with each other, for example, in football, in badminton, in volleyball, in basketball, and table tennis, darts, chess, these kind of things. Study trips, very important. It happens February. The last year students, not the new students, but the last year students were very lucky. They went for their study trips, and just when they came back, 1 week later, the whole of Netherlands were locked down. So we hope that when you are here, so in 2022 March, everything should, I hope everything will be okay, and you can proceed for your study trips. Study trips and field trips are the same, and then you also have different parties that you will be organizing your own self. We have also scholars. Scholars are the student body. They are your years. They will represent all of you, and they will be talking to the ISS management. So they'll be your eyes and ears. So if you have any issues, for example, I don't know, you have so many people making noise at the housing, you inform them, and they will be the one taking care of all these kind of things. Another important question is housing at ISS. We have 4 different housing at ISS, the Bazalan, Buitenom, Doris, and Gondelstraat. 2 of them are like 1 minute away from ISS. That's what most students are choosing at the moment because it's so close. It's about 500 to 600 euros every month, and it's in the center, so it's really, really cheap. We consider you will have your own private bathroom, but you have to share a kitchen with, I think, 4 or 6 different students. Now come to our alumni. We have 13,000 alumni. I think there are more now from 150 countries, also can be more. Every year we have alumni gatherings throughout the world. Every year when I go to Indonesia, every year I have an alumni gathering there with students, with alumni from different cities, for example, Jogja or Surabaya. So every year I organize this, or sometimes the Nuffic Neso organizes this as well. We keep in touch with alumni using monthly alumni newsletters. Of course, we have a Facebook group for alumni, and of course the LinkedIn as well. A lot of our alumni are in influential positions. For example, we have an Indonesian student who graduated 3 years ago, and his thesis was about counterterrorism, so human rights. And now he's working at UNDP in Jakarta, if I'm not mistaken. So, well, that's something for you to think about. This is just a little map that shows where students are from. You can see in Indonesia, there is 1251, you plus 132, so there's 1,500 students from Indonesia. I think that is the highest alumni society we have at ISS. So I think throughout, since 1952, we have a lot of Indonesian students coming to ISS. Yeah, this is another statistics that show where students are coming from. 41% students or alumni based in Asia. This is followed by Africa, South America, Europe. Almost coming to the end. Well, these are our social media that you would like, if you want to connect with us, please do so. Especially there is a group called Perspective Facebook group for ISS. this is a very important group for you to join because most of the time information will be placed in there, like scholarship information or webinars or events that will take place at ISS that may be interested for you. So please join that. And also, if you have any questions, you can always contact me. I'm the first person that you will have to contact if you would like to study the master program. My contact email is study@iss.nl. So very simple. And that is the email address. Well, that's it from me. Thank you very much. And I think there will be a Q&A session. So let's start.
All right. Thank you very much, Darren, for very impressive presentations.
Yeah.
Now we move on to question and answer session. There are several questions that the webinar participants would like to ask. Number one, I'm interested in environmental issues, climate change, and in relation to smallholder issues. From all major postgraduate degrees, which one is suitable for me? If someone is interested in environmental issues, climate change, which one that she or he has to go?
I would suggest to look into the agrarian food and environmental studies. That will be the best because we have all the subjects that she or he mentioned in that area. And also remember, once you choose a major, and if you still like to choose an optional course from another major, it's also possible. So my advice is to look at that one major first and then think about that afterwards.
Okay. So next questions. Is there any bachelor degree program at ISS for intake in 2021? Maybe he or she did not follow from the beginning, or would you please re-explain if there is any bachelor degree from ISS?
Yeah, unfortunately, we do not have any bachelor degree at ISS. We only have a master program at ISS. If you would like to have a bachelor degree, please look at our Erasmus University, our father company, our father university, let's say. They have a lot of bachelor degrees there. And once you graduate with a bachelor degree at Erasmus University, it will be a much more easier transition for you to come to ISS in the future.
Okay, very well noted. Thank you. Next questions. If I am a student of history field, can I take human rights, gender, and conflict studies for my master program, or is there any other field that is more related to my major? So he
Well,
or he is a history student.
yeah. Well, I can't tell you what you should take, but I can tell you that if you're having a history background, for example, Bachelor of History, you can take any major, but as I mentioned in my presentation, you will have to have a very strong motivation letter and probably also a good internship plus some experience. If you do not have an internship experience or working experience, then you have to write a very strong motivation letter stating why you want to study, for example, in human rights major, and how your background will match and what also is your future goal when you graduate from ISS with the human rights major. So basically, even if you're from a different background, you still can join any majors, but motivation letter is key to join ISS. If your motivation is weak or there is no link, then it's almost impossible that you will be accepted.
So basically, it's back to the personal willingness of the
Exactly.
students.
Yeah.
Okay, we move on to next questions. Is there any quota for degree students? Is there any type of Master of Arts in coursework or research? Do you divide between coursework and research, or the only one Master of Arts is suitable to apply for PhD afterwards?
So is that there's 3 questions there, right?
Yes, yes. So the first question will be, is there any quota for master degree programs
Okay,
per
let's start
year?
with that question first. There is no quota. The more the merrier, of course. We would prefer that. So even I think the highest number we had at some point was 200 something students in 1 year, and then now we have 124, and then we have 150, 170. But this year, unfortunately, we have 124 because of the pandemic, of course. But even with the 124 students, to be honest with you, we did not expect to even get above 100 students because of the pandemic. Actually, we do not even expect to get close to 100. But as you can see, students are still willing to study and willing to fly to get their master degree at ISS. So, but saying that, no quota. And what was your second question?
That's a really good condition, actually, when people are still willing to study despite the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay, the second question, is there any type of MA, I believe it's Master of Arts, in coursework or research, or the only one Master of Arts to apply is actually for PhD afterwards? I just repeat the question from the participants.
Yeah, I'm trying to, okay. So after you, there's only one master program, and that is the Master of Arts program. And if you're thinking of doing a PhD after you graduate from the Master of Arts program, if you have a very strong background, if you have a good, you have chosen a supervisor and the supervisor has said yes to you, you have a good proposal, you meet all the criteria, and also you meet one of the 4 research teams that I explained earlier, then there will not be a problem. We have a lot of students who graduated straight after ISS. They straight do a PhD program at ISS. And I know 2 of them who did a master program, did a PhD, and now work at ISS. So, so it is possible, yes.
Okay, so next questions will be, you mentioned before that about the living in the DHEC there. Do you have any suggestions or tips for new students or new international students who will study at ISS, how to settle in, how to live well during maybe the first 1 or 2 months? Because I think that's extremely important for you to get well in your new city.
Yeah. So my advice is to stay with us. We have a dormitory. We have housing, two housing in the coming months. We have 2 or 3 housing in the coming for the new intake. We have more than enough rooms to accommodate. My advice is to try to stay with us because, number one, it saves a lot of your money. It's about 500 to 600 euros a month. As you know, the Netherlands is very small, so housing shortage is very high. So it's not easy to just simply find a housing when you are at Indonesia because it's not easy as 1, 2, 3. So it's better you stay with us. You'll be better off. And also during the first months, the students I take an example of the students who came to ISS in last September during the height of the pandemic. What we do is every student who came to ISS, we register them. You have to wear a mask. You come into the building, we register you, and then we give you a big box of food for your first day. So you have water, you have chips, you have banana, you have all food. And then every day there is somebody sending you food for 1 week. So somebody is always, so we hired someone to give you food every day for 1 week. So the idea is you must self-quarantine for 7 days. So during your quarantine, you are advised strongly not to go out, of course. And then during your quarantine, you do not have to worry because you will have sufficient food.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. So after the 7th day, you can go out and then you do what you need to do. And also in terms of communication, because some students, they want to already communicate with their family, the first, second day itself, probably the first day itself, to say that they have arrived safely. So there's internet connection, things like that, for you to already have connection with your family. So we make sure, well, we try to make sure that you live as comfortable as possible during the pandemic. But I think it's not going to be so difficult, I hope, at least in the coming year, next year.
All right. Okay, Darren, thank you very much for your time and also for your presentation. It explained pretty much about ISS, and we do hope that many webinar participants will be interested to join and take part to your university. And do not forget that we also have virtual fair later on Friday and Saturday. So if any webinar participant are interested, you have to visit us again on Friday and Saturday on events.ehef.id. So Darren, thank you very much. Take care there, and we do hope that pandemic will be over soon, so we can go back to our normal life and we can study. You have mentioned before that even though it's pandemic, but the willingness of people to study still high. So after pandemic, I believe it will be much higher than right now. Okay, thank you very much, and I hope to see you again on Friday and Saturday. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Welcome to EHEF Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. My name is Haris, and I'm going to be moderating this webinar. This webinar is going to be presented by Ms. Lian from Maastricht University. Please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we will hold a question and answer session. If you have any questions related to the presentations or country's higher education, please kindly submit your questions in YouTube comment section anytime throughout the presentation. Now, without any further ado, we would like to have Ms. Lian from Maastricht University. Time is yours.
Thank you, Harris. So nice to meet you, everyone. Let me get my presentation on here. All right, so. All right, so this is a beautiful view of Maastricht, and that's the city and the university that I will be talking about today. My name is Lian. I am the China and Southeast Asia region relations officer. So I do marketing and recruitment for East and Southeast Asia at Maastricht University. So why Maastricht University? Let me first give you an impression of our city. I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with the Netherlands, so you can first enjoy a few nice photos. This is our main university building. Outside of the pandemic, I would normally be working here, and also lots of students visit it regularly, of course. This is the river that our city is named after, the Maas. It runs through the city right to the middle, and there's many different bridges, old and new, crossing it. So you'll be seeing this river regularly if you study here. This is near the Vrijthof, one of the many squares that we have in Maastricht. You see a few churches here as well. There's lots of churches. Maastricht is a very old city. There's lots of history. And when the weather is nice, it's a great place near the church squares to hang out, discuss things with your friends and fellow students. So that's happening a lot as well. Here you see a student crossing one of the bridges of Maastricht, and he's doing it by the way that's most common in the Netherlands, which is of course by bike. Maastricht is a very compact city compared to some of the bigger cities in the west of the Netherlands. So you can also walk everywhere, but the Dutch people also still like biking around as well. And this is one of our university buildings. This is a building from the School of Business and Economics. And because, as I mentioned, Maastricht is such an old city, lots of our faculty buildings have a long history. They have had multiple functions, either as former courts or some are even former houses. So it's a very nice atmosphere to study in. So let's give you some further details about our university. So we call ourselves the most international university of the Netherlands, and we are very proud of that, of course, because we have a very international student population. We're also the youngest university in the Netherlands. And if you look at rankings, we consistently rank high in lists from Times Higher Education. We are currently ranked 6th there, and also several of our schools and faculties also rank highly. And lastly, a very important thing about our university is that we are a founder and pioneer of problem-based learning. And that might not tell you anything at this moment, but I'll tell you a lot more about it later. So don't worry if you don't recognize this immediately. So the most international university in the Netherlands, we're proud of that. And we also believe it's a very important thing in this globalized world with all these international issues that's currently important. And that's why we're very happy that so many of our students and of our staff are coming from abroad. We do have a large population of European students, so Germany and Italy and Belgium, but I'd say that the Asian students take up a large part of the non-EU students. And I'd say Indonesia is one of the bigger groups from Southeast Asia as well at the university. So you'll be able to make lots of friends from different backgrounds and also meet some of your own country. And there's also lots of opportunities to broaden your horizons in different ways. You can do an internship either in the Netherlands or go abroad for your internship again as well. You are able to study abroad. We've got many exchange partners all over the world for different programs. And yeah, we are, I'll show you in a minute where we are located, because then you'll understand why we feel that students are able to really get an international perspective at our university. And of course, important for most students coming from outside of the EU, although some of you may be able to speak a little bit of Dutch, but no worries, almost all of our bachelor programs are fully in English. So you're welcome to learn Dutch, but it's not necessary at all. So let me show you a bit where we are located. We are located in the far southeast of the Netherlands. The province is called Limburg, and Maastricht is the capital city. So it's also the biggest city of the province, and because it's the only city within the province that has a university, we have different campuses. We've got a campus in Brussels, and we also have a campus in Venlo. But that means that we attract lots of students, and because we are very close to Belgium and Germany, we also attract lots of international business. There's always lots of expats. You'll hear a lot of French and German and English while you are walking around the city. And as you can see, topographically, we are closer to Brussels than to Amsterdam. It's, of course, all very easily reachable by train. And these days, there's a little bit less going abroad because of the current situation. But once everything will be a bit more stable again, Maastricht is the perfect place to also go to Southern Europe, go to France, go to Italy, or even to East Europe. That's why we say we're located at the heart of Europe, and we are the gateway to Europe as well. And this means that in many programs, we also collaborate with institutes that are located in Belgium or in Germany. So you will definitely be able to look at issues from different perspectives and from different angles. So I mentioned this also, this learning environment at Maastricht University is definitely designed to be very stimulating. I'll talk a little bit more about problem-based learning in a minute, but know that it's a very student-centered learning method which propagates small groups of students as opposed to some to most other universities where you will be following a more lecture-based program. We have an international classroom setting. We've got many different nationalities, many different backgrounds, and we actively encourage our students, of course, to exchange and to communicate and to talk to each other on these differences. So in addition to the problem-based learning tutorials, as they are called, you will also get skills training depending on your program. So for medicine, you often have skills training about learning how to do stitches or how to handle certain conversations with patients. For economics, it may be about writing, and for law, it could be about presenting yourself and your case in court. So it's all very practically minded. And in addition, you always can look for opportunities to do an exchange, study abroad, do an internship, or follow on an honors program if you want to delve a little bit further into your studies. So what makes PBL so special and so different? As I often say, PBL basically bridges the a theory with the practical world. So in PBL, you get case studies that relate directly to your study program. So for example, European public health, there has been this case study of a sickness that suddenly arose in Belgium, and then people in Aachen, and which is in Germany, and also people in Maastricht, which are all very close cities, suddenly also get this disease. So there needs to be communication between the hospitals. There needs to be communication between the governments on how to handle it. There needs to be seen how it needs to be told to the public, or if certain measures need to be taken. So you can see that one case study involves many different aspects. And PBL gives you, on the one hand, the freedom to explore the path that you find most interesting, but at the same time, you also need to collaborate with fellow students, or you may work in a small team, and you always have a tutor. So there's definitely some guidance, and there's definitely a certain depth in the research that's required, of course. But you will be able to think critically how to solve issues and how to solve problems. So you'll gain independency and also feel more comfortable with public speaking and to talk about your own ideas and about your own views. So this is, of course, different from just listening to a lecture and having to memorize lots of theory. Instead, you actively look for knowledge or search for certain aspects that you find most important, and then you can actively discuss it with your fellow classmates and your tutor to see what they think about it and if it makes sense and what that would mean for the case study at hand. And it, of course, also helps you in your further career, because in many jobs, you'll get presented with a certain issue or certain project, and then you'll just have to start on it yourself. There won't necessarily be a certain direction to go into. So not only is PBL a very interesting way to actively learn and to actively get knowledge while studying, but it also helps you adapt for a career after you finish your studies. So this is an example of a weekly schedule. So you still have some lectures, of course, because there's always going to be some theory that needs to be disseminated. But as you see, it's mainly tutorials in small groups. It used to be max 15 before the pandemic, and it's going even lower currently because we do have a hybrid system. So students will still have some offline courses as well as online courses, depending, of course, on the size of the classes and on the amount of students in a certain class. So yeah, and you see, of course, that there's also lots of time that you can schedule yourself for readings, but also for lunch or to hang out with friends. So this is generally how a week could look like, depending, of course, on the program you follow. And let's look a little bit at the city itself. So this is our campus, and it's not a closed off part of the city. We're right in the middle of the city, and it's fully open. You will be studying just among the other buildings in the city, and you really get a feeling for the local atmosphere and the city itself. You can see that some of our faculty, but generally everything is very easily reachable, either by bike or public transportation, and even walking. You may have to walk at most 20 to 25 minutes. But yeah, you can also always take a bus, and then you'll be anywhere within like 10 or 15 minutes. So that makes for a very nice experience as well, because you also get to experience a bit the local life instead of just being on a campus abroad. So here we have the overview of all of our English programs. So these programs are all fully in English. And you don't need to learn any Dutch, except for the international track in medicine, where you will have to learn Dutch after your third year because you need to connect to Dutch patients. But all these other programs are fully in Dutch, fully in English. And yeah, we will have another bachelor open day at the beginning of next year. But I'll leave my contact details, of course, as well. And there's also room here to ask questions if you want to about certain programs. Be sure to also look on our website, because many of our faculties regularly organize experience days or have opportunities to connect with students of these different study programs. So if you are interested in a specific program, be sure to check it out on our website as well. So these are, this is a general admission requirement slide. So please check again the program that you want to study, because there may be more or less requirements depending on the program. But in general, either successful completion of one of the first year of a bachelor's program or the above diploma should make you admissible to almost all of our English programs, as I mentioned, as shown on the previous slide. All of the requirements are stated on our website for each program. So just look closely which programs mention which requirements. And if a certain subject or a certain test is not stated on the website, then it's not needed. So yeah, so if you don't see it specifically, it's not needed. If you are unsure about certain qualifications or certain tests that you need to do, you can always contact us and ask our admission officers for more details about that. And I mentioned the binding study advice as well here, although there will be some changes on that. But in general, most study programs currently still have the requirement that you get a certain amount of ECTS, at least 30, and oftentimes there can be certain classes involved to get your binding study advice, which means that you can continue your studies. If you don't get your binding study advice, you are required to quit your studies and cannot apply again for a couple of years. So keep that in mind. If you are a bit unsure about your program, just reach out to us and let us know any of your questions, because we wouldn't want you to quit your studies early. So these are a few of our more selective programs and numerous fixes. So it means that there's a limited amount of students that are admitted to these programs every year. For these programs, there's a more selective procedure. It includes an interview beforehand. It may include a certain matching procedure where you are matched based on your profile to the study program, and depending how well they think you will be a fit. So these include a few business and business economics programs at our School of Business and Economics. And they also include a few of the liberal arts and sciences degrees. So that's the Maastricht Science Program, the University College Maastricht, and the University College Venlo. Liberal arts and sciences means that you are able to make your own curriculum. So Maastricht Science Program is focused generally on all the natural sciences, from biology to physics to chemistry. The University College Maastricht is focused more on social sciences and humanities, so also including law and also including economics. And then the University College Venlo is focused on food, innovation, and health. But within those topics, you can make your own curriculum. And then the numerous fixes programs are, as mentioned here, medicine, psychology, and international business. So keep these deadlines also in mind when you're applying, and that the application procedure will take longer for these programs than for programs that have a less strict procedure. So I'm mentioning a few of our master's programs here as well. This is just a general impression of what we have, and be sure to check out our website. We will have a master's open day at the beginning of next year as well. And again, all of these masters are in English. They generally take 1 year. A research master will take 2 years. And yeah, just let us know if you have any certain questions about our master programs. So here I specify a little bit more the bachelor-master structure. So after you finish a bachelor, which takes 3 years here, it's your own choice whether you want to continue with a master, a research master, or just enter the labor market. And if you want to do a PhD, you always need to do a research master, and research master takes 2 years instead of 1 year. This is what the academic year roughly looks like. So the course periods, exam periods, although they change, of course, per program, different vacations that you will have, and when there will be resits. And here it is in a bit more detail. So instead of just having 2 semesters, we also divide it further into different periods. And oftentimes after each period, you will have some exams as well. And this means that you don't need to wait until the end of the semester to study all of your study all of your classes at once, but it's divided throughout the year. So this also makes it easier in a certain way to retain your knowledge and to use it actively instead of just learning it and then only having the exam a few months later. So if you don't qualify directly for one of our programs, we have a solution for that as well, and it's called the Foundation Program. So this is for motivated international students to train them for a bachelor's program at our university. It's an in-house program. You will already be in the city, in Maastricht. You will be following classes in university buildings. So you are already fully integrated in our city as well as in our university. It's a 1-year full-time program, and the Foundation Program can prepare you for basically all of the bachelor programs we have. You will choose your bachelor program that you want to go enter into before you start the Foundation Program, because the Foundation Program itself is also catered towards certain bachelor programs. So that ensures that we have such a high placement rate, which is currently 100% amongst students who pass our program. So that's something that we really pay attention to. And the program fee, I will go into the program fee for the other programs a little in the next slide. But for the Foundation Program, they are 14,000 for the year, or 12,000 if you can. If you don't have to take the English classes, which is mentioned here as an IELTS 7.5, or if you're a native speaker. And again, the Foundation Program has students coming from all 5 continents, from many different countries, so you will also have the international classroom environment already. So these are the tuition fees for our other study programs. So this is a yearly tuition fee. For Indonesian students, the institutional fees non-EU are applicable. So most bachelor's programs fall into the 8,000 euros category. Most of some of our more selective programs fall into a different tier of 10,900, and this is because the classes are smaller. There's even more room and opportunity for further personalization per student. So the output is a bit higher. That's why the costs are a bit higher as well. And then for medicine, it's mentioned below, different fees again. So yeah, that's also a little bit different still. Then here's a non-exhaustive list of scholarships that are available. For bachelor, these are a bit more limited than for master. And in general, you can always ask us for scholarship options. We state on our website, but you can also look at the NAFIC NESO. I believe they all have already had a presentation here, but they are also at the EHEF. So do check with them as well for more scholarship options. Then a bit more practical things. Since I mentioned we don't have a campus, there's no general dorms either. So for housing, you can make use of university housing. We have the so-called guest house where you can stay. And there's a university rental website for that as well. But many students choose to find a shared flat or studio themselves. I'd say shared flats are the most common because studios tend to be a bit more expensive in comparison. A shared flat can be shared with as little as 2 people to, I think normally the max is around 6 or 7 people. And yeah, depending on the size of your room, it can cost somewhere between 350 to 550, I'd say. And you can always look for them through Facebook groups. You can also look at commercial rental agencies. But generally, if you start during the summer, so our academic year starts in September. If you start looking around July, then you will be able to pretty easily find a room. And it's very nice living together with other students, get to know some people, cook your own foods, and just have a nice atmosphere when you get home as well. So this is a very rough estimation of the living costs. And I'd say that it's a bit high in comparison. I don't think you'll be spending that much on study materials per month. Leisure and sports also doesn't have to be that expensive. So I'd say general, if your room costs between 350 to 550, if you live reasonably and don't go out too much for food, then I think your monthly fee should be around 200 to 300 euros. So that would make the total around 600 to 800 euros instead of the above 950. So just keep that in mind. And then anything else related to student life or student services, you can always go to our Student Services Center for that. They also provide pre-academic training, which takes place in the summer. We always have an introduction week. We had one this year as well. It was hybrid with activities taking place online and offline. So no matter what happens, it'll still take place. There's many different student organizations, also different sports organizations for students to join. So whether you like theater or you like football, you will have the opportunity to find like-minded people and hang out together doing what you like. And if you have any question, no matter if it's related to internships or language courses you like to follow, or if you have any issues in other issues, then you can always go to our Student Services Center for student counseling and other services. And for those who want to get some more practical experience, there is the opportunity to also get a part-time job. You can either get a part-time job at the university as a so-called student assistant, or you can work in a local establishment like a cafe or store. And since it's a very international environment, there's often no need for you to speak Dutch. So this is a map of the facilities we have and where they are located. So most of them are located in the center as well. And a few others are located a bit more southeast. We have 2 libraries, as you can see. There's a sports center as well. So be sure to check it out if you're interested to see what our campus looks like. And here's a sneak peek of our library. So the left library is the one in the southeast near the Faculty of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences. And the library to the right is the one in the city center. So there's lots of space, even in these times, for you to go to the library to study if you want to leave your room for minutes. And besides our online activities or participation in these kinds of activities, there's also our virtual open day, which gives you the opportunity at any time of the day to look at different study programs and get some more information about student life, about any financial questions. So be sure to check that out as well. All our study programs are on there, and it's fully in English, so you'll be able to learn a bit more there as well. And then lastly, these are our general contact details. So any specific programs or admissions questions, please send them to study@Maastricht University, because they will be because they are admissions officers, will be able to provide you with more detailed questions. But if you have a general question about coming from Indonesia to the Netherlands, or other questions not specifically related to admissions, you are welcome to contact our country team for Southeast Asia as well, where and I can also see the emails coming in there. And be sure to follow us on social media as well. We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. There's also YouTube. We regularly have YouTube live sessions. There will be one on admissions tomorrow evening, and maybe a little bit late in Indonesia. But if you have any specific admissions questions, be sure to check that out. And otherwise, you can always look it back on YouTube. And that's it for now. But I'm of course happy to answer any questions that you may all still have. So thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much for a very comprehensive explanation about Maastricht University, Ms. Lian. Now we move on to question and answer session. We have several questions for you. Number one is related to the application. Is there any application fee for those who apply for the university? If there is there any possibilities for waiver the fee?
Yes, I actually know that there is indeed a handling fee, and I think it depends indeed on the admissions procedure if you're able to waive it. I can actually look directly. I will stop my screen share for a moment then, and I will directly view the information that I know I've seen. Because I think it depends on the program as well as on your final acceptance into that program. I'll put some more. Is it convenient if I put information in the chat, or where should I, if I have any links, can I put them anywhere?
Yeah, sure. If you would like to put the links, you can put it in the message, and then I will try to write it on YouTube comments.
Yes, okay. Yes, I've got the link here. So yes, there's a handling fee at the start of the application process. It's 100 euros. And there can be exemptions for our handling fee as well. So I'll just put the link in here so everybody can check it out directly.
Oh, thank you very much. So next questions will be, okay, so I took my undergraduate with English as the main language. The university and language that I use are also listed in World Higher Education Database. Therefore, can I be exempted from taking IELTS when I apply for Maastricht University?
It depends a bit on the program that you want to study, because there will be different requirements for English at different programs. But in general, I think if you have a diploma, a certificate, enough proof of your English, then there is probably the possibility for an exemption. But please check your specific program, because they always, I think most of the programs in the admission requirements, they will state a sort of little questionnaire, and they will ask you, like, do you have you followed the program fully in English? Okay, then you are able to be exempt of the test. Have you had a test before, or what? Or have you a certain experience? So please look at that as well. But I will provide a more general link where you can check what would be required as the tests. So yeah, there's definitely, again, options to be exempt, but they differ per program. So feel free to also
share the link on the screen so the participant can see the link.
Yes, sure. I will also put it again in the chat, that I can still do that here as well, because I think most of the things mentioned here, let me see if I can find something directly related to the English. I think a lot of our documents focus more on additional subjects like physics or biology that you may need. So if the student if this person has a specific program they want to look at, just look directly at the program admission and requirements, because they have the details. And if it is a certain program, I can also show it here on the screen, but the general is a bit more broad, so it won't have all the specifics required. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. Next questions. Can somebody apply directly without going to study link?
No. Yeah, we use. Yes. So I just sent the link as well, but I can share it very quickly. Just the here you can see the admission requirements, and here you can see how the whole process goes for applying for a bachelor's program. And you can see that it's necessary to register via StudyLink. I don't think there's any Dutch higher education institute in the Netherlands, unless it's perhaps a certain private institute that doesn't require StudyLink, because it's a general government mandated step within our application process. But as you can see here, we mention the specific steps, and again on the different bachelor programs, it will also mention the specific steps needed for you to be admissible.
So basically everything is provided on masteruniversity.nl, right, on the website of the university.
Definitely. But yeah, so definitely check that out. And let me see, I probably can show you below here. We have our live webinar tomorrow regarding the admissions here, the ultimate roadmap. So
right.
Students
so
are
is free to come.
Exactly. It's a live stream. I think it's a bit late comparatively in Indonesia, but if you don't make it this time, you can watch it back on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And yeah, here
and we also have a virtual fair on Friday and Saturday.
Exactly.
So participants can also join and also ask if there is any further question regarding how to join Maastricht University, or how to get the admission, how to handle the fee or scholarship and everything. So if you still have any questions, please visit our virtual fair on Friday and Saturday.
Definitely,
okay.
Yes.
Next question. Okay, so fortunately, I have been accepted by a professor at Maastricht University for doing PhD. How big is the opportunity to be how big is my opportunity to be officially and institutionally accepted?
Okay, so yeah, so our PhD programs are, of course, a bit different from the bachelor and master programs. It depends a little bit more on the internal, I'd say it depends a bit more on the funding or the internal budgets. And also depends on your faculty, because for PhD programs, I'm more involved in China with the Chinese PhD programs, because we have a direct scholarship program there. Of course, if you have your own funding and if your professor has accepted your research proposal and you are ready to start, then I think in general it should be there shouldn't be any hitches, any problems. But of course, if you need to extend your PhD, or if your research isn't totally on schedule, that's when things can sometimes start to be a bit more difficult. So please keep that in mind if you're starting your PhD. For our other PhD, if you're self-funded, that's of course also a different option. You mentioned you already have a professor. So in general, if a professor is interested in you, and if there's the budget or the opportunity to start the research from that faculty, and I'd say in general, our faculties of probably the more exact sciences have a bit more budget than the social sciences or humanities faculties. So in general, I'd say if your professor already accepted the proposal, if you are already, if the funding is already arranged for, then there shouldn't be any problems. But yeah, if there's like certain things with like the duration or the funding or any other questions that still remain, then you should check it with your professor, and your professor should check within the faculty, with the research dean, or within the research group how it's being arranged and if everything is okay for you to start. So that's the general information I can give you right now. And I'd advise you to just keep in close contact with the professor and let him or her reach out internally sufficiently so you have the information on time if you are going to start.
All right, thank you for the explanations. Okay, to all webinar participants, we do understand many of you maybe still have questions, but unfortunately our time is quite limited. But do not worry, you can still visit us on our virtual fair on Friday and Saturday. Please visit event.ehef.id so you can have further talk and also further information about Master University and other university that you are interested to join in the next intake. So, Ms. Lian, thank you very much for your time and also for your presentations. We really appreciate that. And we do hope to meet you again soon, and we expect pandemics will be over soon. So everything's going back to normal. We can study again, we can travel again, and take care there. Thank you very much, and good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here and hopefully see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.